Hey friends, before we dive into tonight's story, did you know that nearly 80% of the people who watch these videos aren't subscribed? If you're enjoying this kind of content, consider hitting the subscribe button. It really helps a lot, and it keeps these long stories going. Also, I'd love to hear from you. What time is it right now where you are, and which city are you listening from tonight? And if these stories help you sleep, feel free to tap the thanks button to support the channel. It truly means a lot. All right, let's get into it. I'm on scene at 2:17. The rain has led up to a fine mist that clings to my patrol jacket. I step out onto the gravel shoulder of County Road 102, headlights slicing through low clouds of fog. There's a Ford Ranger up ahead. License plate matches the missing person report. Walter Dean, 38, last seen leaving the Broken Spur Bar in Terrell County around midnight. Engine's cold, no keys in the ignition, no sign of struggle. Just the cab light left on, spilling yellow onto wet rock. I crouch by the driver's door. Mouth of a boot print in the mud. Dean size, men's 10 wide. Only one set. He drove here alone. I shine my light inside. Nothing but a half-empty coffee cup in the cup holder, beads of condensation on the lid. The smell of stale tobacco drifts out. I close the door gently, careful not to erase prints. Radio crackles. Unit 7, are you okay? Deputy Collins' voice, distant through static. I reply, 10-4, I'm good. I've got the Ranger. No sign of Dean. I pause. I'm following prints heading west. I stand and step off the road into mesquite brush. The mist muffles sound. Every footstep is a soft thud. The prints slope downhill toward an old cattle guard. Bars of iron rising from the ground, half buried. I kneel and run a gloved finger along the print. Wet mud, no drag marks. Dean walked, no limp. He kept moving. I shine my light beyond the guard into an abandoned pasture. Fence posts lean at odd angles. A rusted windmill creaks in the distance. The only sound is my own breathing. I switch to night vision on my rifle's scope and scan. Nothing. No heat signature. Coyotes slink away, their eyes flash green. I move forward, the grass slick underfoot. I check my watch, 2:24. 7 minutes since I arrived. I'm cold, but I don't notice. I'm thinking about the missing calls I've answered in 22 years. How they all start the same way. Someone doesn't come home. A chill runs through me that isn't from the air. I find a second object. A folding pocket knife half open, blade dull with dried dirt. I bag it. The handle is engraved with initials. W.D., no doubt. I think of Dean's wife back at the station. She called in hysterics. He'd never leave me. I wanted to reassure her. I wanted to believe it. Now, I wonder if she'll ever hear his voice again. The path leads to a dry creek bed. Stones slick with algae. I test a step, foot slips, lands in shallow water. I look down. Ripples fade into darkness. No reflection. I shine upward. The collapsed hunting blind rests at the bank's edge. Broken wood, splintered planks. I approach slowly. The blind is empty. Torn canvas flapping. Beneath it, footprints converge. 2 sets now. One mine, one Dean's, and another, smaller, too small for an adult. A child's sneaker sole pressed into the mud. My heart tightens. I radio in, Unit 7 to dispatch. I've got an unidentified sneaker, possible juvenile. Request K, 9 and CSI static. I wait. The silence stretches. Finally, copy Unit 7, dog team en route. I slip the sneaker into an evidence bag. Pale blue, size 3, not Dean's, not a bar patron. Something else happened here. I stand in the creek bed, mist swirling. The windmill's creak echoes. I think of the file on my desk. 32 missing persons in Terrell County since last summer. Half found, deceased. The rest just names and blank squares on a chart. I remember Walter Dean's face in the booking photo. Tired eyes, easy smile. A man who loved his daughter, now his daughter's shoe. Cold fact. I climb back up the bank. The ground tilts. I follow the muddy trail east toward a stand of cottonwoods. Branches hang low, water dripping. I pass beneath, water splashes on my helmet. My boots sink ankle-deep in mud. I flick on the thermal. A shape, crouched, dark against the faint heat of the earth. I freeze. The shape doesn't move. I raise my rifle, heart pounding. "Sheriff's Department," I call. "Show yourself." The figure dissolves into the trees. No response, no movement. Just the slow drip of water. I step forward. The figure was real, something crouched in the brush, watching. I should have seen it sooner. Should have called for backup before leaving the truck. But part of me needed to see this alone. Needed to feel the weight of the search. I scan the area. Nothing. Leaves skitter in wind. The night holds its breath. I backtrack to the creek bank. The child's sneaker is gone. Evidence bag zipped open. I must have dropped it. I curse under my breath. Adrenaline surges. I search the mud. No shoe. No prints except mine and Dean's. The smaller prints vanished, like they never existed. My radio crackles. Unit 7, K9 on site in 5. I answer. Copy. I pause. Look up at the black sky. No stars. I think of that shape. Of the sneaker. I think of every missing child poster stapled to telephone poles in this county. Faces under yellow tape. I think of the silence that follows when searches end. The empty chair at home. I move back toward the road, mind racing. The mist feels thicker. I wipe rain from my face. I check my map. The creek runs parallel to CR 102 for half a mile, then turns south toward ranch land. I decide to follow the creek downstream, where the blind was. My K9 partner will start at the truck. I need to find that sneaker. I need to know. At 2:38, I step into a clearing, a circular patch of grass worn to dirt. In the center, a single object, a faded Polaroid photo pinned to the ground with a knife. I kneel. The photo shows a little girl, maybe 5, smiling in front of a windmill. Behind her stands Walter Dean, arm around her shoulder. Printed on the border, Daddy's Little Windmill Princess, June 2019. My stomach drops. This was Dean's daughter. She's been missing too. I look around, no footprints. The pin holds the photo fast. The blade glints. I bag the photo, careful not to disturb the knife. I stand, voice low. This isn't just Walter Dean. I speak to the dark. This is everyone. I slip back into the brush. I radio dispatch. Unit 7, we've got a Polaroid, Dean, and a juvenile. Possible abduction. I'm moving south along the creek. My voice trembles slightly. I clear my throat. Request emergency response, they reply. ETA 10 minutes. Too long. I move fast now, following where the creek curves. Water seeps through my boots. Cold spreads. I feel hollow, as if I left something back at that clearing. I remember the deputy before me, the rookie who vanished on a similar call years ago. No body, no trace. Case closed, exceptional clearance. I swallowed hard that night. I vowed it would never happen on my watch. At 2:45, I reach a fallen oak. Roots ripped from earth, gaping hole beneath. I train my light into the root cellar. Loose dirt, broken boards. The scent hits me before I see it, something rotting. I lower my flashlight. Inside, a shape. A small shape curled in mud. I step closer, heart thundering. The shape moves. A child's arm, pale and wet, extends. I catch my breath. I crouch, gun lowered. It's okay. Sheriff's Department, I'm here to help. The child's head lifts, red hair plastered, eyes wide with confusion, tears streaked with dirt. I unclip handcuffs and gently remove the blade pin. You're safe now. My voice cracks. I radio in. I've got one juvenile, alive. Send medics. The child doesn't speak. She points upstream, mouth opening soundlessly. I look where she points. Dark water swirling around a submerged tire. I step forward, heart in my throat. I kneel, reaching into the cold creek. My fingers close on something solid. I pull. Walter Dean's jacket, tangled in roots. I lift it out. The fabric is torn. I search beneath. Nothing else. No body. Just Dean's jacket. I sit back on the bank, child in my arms. She's shaking. I wrap my jacket around her. My radio crackles. Unit 7, K9 on scene. I answer, stand by. I've got one child. Need immediate extraction. I cradle her, listening to her shivers. The mist seems to pause, watching. I think of Dean's wife, of the light in her eyes when she talked about family. I think of the empty truck. I look at the creek, dark and deep. It gave up the girl but not the man. I feel the weight of both, relief and dread. I whisper to the child, we're almost out. She nods, silent. I stand, lifting her. Mud falls from my boots. I move toward the road, lights flashing red and blue in the mist. I carry hope and horror both. At 2:52, I step onto the gravel shoulder. Deputy Ruiz appears with the dog team. The hound circles the creek bank, sniffs at the jacket, then whimpers. I hand the child to Ruiz and kneel by the jacket. I flash my light upstream, nothing but dark water and drifting mist. I radio dispatch. Unit 7. We have one juvenile and one jacket. No sign of Walter Dean. Prepare for body recovery downstream. My voice is steady. Inside, I feel the same hollow knot. The search will continue. Files will fill another desk. More posters will go up. More silence will follow. I stand in the mist, coat wrapped tight, listening to the creek's slow murmur. The windmill's creak drifts faintly. The child grips my arm. I offer a small nod. She doesn't ask questions. She knows the silence. I straighten, voice low. Let's go home. And as we walk back to the patrol truck, I carry that empty ache with me. The space where a man should be, and the echo of his daughter's whispered fear. I pick my way back through the mesquite, the child's small weight heavy against my chest. Her breath is shallow, rapid, traumatized, but alive. I keep my voice low. You're safe now, I've got you. She nods once, gripping my jacket. We reach the patrol truck. Deputy Ruiz catches the child and guides her inside. I step up onto the running board, then pause. The creek's murmur follows me, as if it knows I'm leaving something behind. I close the door, headlights cutting through mist. The world beyond the windshield is silver gray, empty. Inside, the child curls on the seat. Ruiz covers her with a thermal blanket. Thanks, I say. He nods, eyes tight. He knows what I'm thinking. Dean's jacket means Dean isn't far. Could be downstream, could be trapped under debris. Could be anything. I start the engine. The heater sputters to life, warm air licking at my face. On the dash, my coffee from earlier sits untouched, cold now. I twist the cap, take a sip. Bitter, necessary. I glance at the photo of my kids taped to the corner of the windshield. They're asleep, I hope. Safe. I push the image away. No room for that tonight. I radio dispatch. Unit 7 moving to secure child at station. Request medics at CR 102 and 33 intersection. Static crackles. 10-4, Unit 7. Medics dispatched. I switch off the mic. Ruiz drives. I sit in the passenger seat, hands folded on my lap. The child watches me through the rearview mirror. Big eyes, fear and relief tangled there. I offer a half smile. She manages a trembling one back. We roll slowly down County Road 102. The fog drifts over the hood like smoke. The milling cattle beyond the fence stand motionless in the gray glow. Every shadow seems to twitch, like something half glimpsed. I hold my breath at each fence post, expecting movement. 10 minutes later, lights flare ahead. Ambulance and a second patrol unit. We pull over, paramedics jump out, slip the child onto a stretcher, check her vitals. Her pulse is strong. She squeezes my name badge through the blanket. Sheriff. I nod. You did good. They load her and drive off with siren muted. I turn back to the creek's mouth, a black ribbon bleeding into the pasture. I slip out and walk to the bank, leaving the truck's warmth behind. The mud sucks at my boots. I reach the spot where I found her. Roots arch overhead, dripping water. I kneel and touch the wet earth. Where are you, Dean? I whisper. No answer. Only the creek's restless voice and the windmill's distant creak. I stand and shine my light downstream. The beam cuts through mist, fallen logs, tangled branches, a sunken tire I passed earlier. I step into the shallow water, boots filling with cold. I probe with my foot, nothing solid. I wade deeper, water to mid-calf. The mud below shifts. I freeze, then kick against something firm. I lean over, hands in the water, groping. My fingers close on fabric. I pull up a scrap of cloth, denim, torn. I lift, part of Dean's shirt, soaked, snagged on a submerged limb. I bag it. I stand in the creek, heart thudding. 2 pieces of evidence now, the jacket and the shirt. Both upstream, both signs that Dean moved deeper into the water, or was forced. I scan the bank, no footprints other than mine. The child's? She couldn't have left prints. She was carried. Someone else was here, someone who brought her out but took Dean down. I climb out, boots squelching. The mud leaves heavy clumps. I wipe my hands on my pants. I look back toward the road, headlights receding. Soon, I'll be alone again. I pull out my phone, check the time, 3:10, 3 missing hours. I snap a photo of the shirt, then of the creek flow. Evidence. I head back to the truck. Ruiz stands by the open door. You ready? He asks. I nod, sliding in. The heater's warmth is welcome but hollow. I flick off night vision, return to normal lights. Where to next? Ruiz asks. Downstream, foot patrol. I pause. K9 team will meet us at the next cattle guard. He nods. We move out. The creek parallels the road for half a mile, then bends south into private ranch land. I park at the next cattle guard. The dog team arrives, Tracker sniffing at the bank, eager. I clip on his leash. Find Dean, I whisper. He wags once, then plunges nose first into the reeds. Ruiz and I follow. Tracker's nails click on the gravel. He stops at the bank, sniffs, then crosses onto the pasture. He follows the creek's curve, pulling me forward. The ground here is softer, old river silt. I watch Tracker's tail, stiff, focused. We come to an old barbed wire fence. Tracker noses beneath, emerges on the far side. I go under too, snagging my jacket. The pasture beyond slopes gently to a dry lake bed. Cracked white clay under hoofprints. I sweep the area with my light. Tracker circles, then stops at a depression in the clay. I crouch. In the center, a boot heel, half buried, Dean's boot. Next to it, in chalk-white clay, imprints of small feet, matching the sneaker I lost. They lead toward a clump of mesquite. I follow, Tracker at my side, his breathing steady. Under the mesquite, the ground falls away, a hidden gully. I shine down. A shallow ditch lined with rocks. The footprints sink into mud at the bottom. I climb down carefully. The air is colder here. I crouch by the prints. They lead to a patch of flattened grass. In the center, a single object. A child's teddy bear, one eye missing, fur matted. My throat tightens. I bag the bear. I lift it by the ear, careful. The mud on the other side shows Dean's prints leading away toward the deeper end of the gully. I follow. The gully narrows, walls of packed earth rising. My light catches something further on, a dark shape against the bank. I stop. The shape is motionless. A body. I swallow. I click on the rifle light. The beam cuts across. Nothing. Then slowly, the shape moves, an arm extending, reaching. I step forward, heart hammering, then freeze. It's a scarecrow of clothing hung on a branch. Dean's shirt, branches for arms, a boot for a head. The shirt is pinned open inside the collar, a scrap of paper pinned with a knife. I kneel, unfold the paper, a note scrawled in mud-smudged ink. Always watching silence, speaks you carry the quiet. My pulse spikes. This is no accident, this is a message. I bag the note. The thrill of anger mixes with dread. Someone prepared this, set a trap. The scarecrow is a lure, mocking. I think of the farmhouse candles in Harlan's case. The circle, the chair, the scanner. I stand in the gully, the note burning in my glove. Tracker whines. I shine my light up the gully. No exit, just steep banks. I realize I'm trapped. The only way out is back the way I came. And that's a narrow path where someone could wait. I gesture to Ruiz, who's scanning above. Stay sharp. He nods, hand on his holster. I step backward, tracker at my heel, following the prints out. Each step crunches in clay. The gully walls feel like closing in. At the top, I climb out, breathless. The pasture stretches silent. The cattle guard and trucks gleam in the distance. I step into open ground, then turn back. The gully mouth is empty again. No sign of the scarecrow, the paper gone as if swallowed. Only the clay prints remain. Ruiz approaches. You good? He asks softly. I nod, swallowing. This was set up. I tap my glove where the note is bagged. Message. I pause. He's playing us. Wants us to find pieces, but not him. Ruiz's face is grave. What now? I look toward the creek, toward the road. We move fast. Drone team on standby? I radio dispatch. Unit 7. We need air support and search teams at gully location. Possible suspects still in area. They confirm. I turn off the gully. Tracker paces, eager. I call him off. Hold. He stops. Good dog. I climb into the truck. The child's jacket lies on the back seat. I glance at it, then at Dean's jacket in the evidence bag. The two garments side by side. One empty, one full of hope. Both stained by mud and water. I start the engine. The mist has lifted slightly, revealing low clouds. The windmill's silhouette is faint against the gray. I drive back onto CR 102, lights off, stealth. We'll approach the gully by stealth, set up perimeter. The drone will fly in from the east. Inside the cab, Ruiz sets up the laptop for the drone feed. I watch the black and white infrared image, the gully mouth, empty. I mark paths for search teams. I lean back. Tracker's head rests on my knee. I close my eyes for a moment. I think of Dean's daughter, curled in a hospital bed, frightened. I think of Dean, wherever he is, afraid or worse. I think of every missing person I've met. The ache in my chest deepens. The drone buzzes overhead. I track its movement on screen, the gully, the creek, the pasture. I zoom in on the creeping darkness under the mesquite. Nothing. Then a flicker. A heat signature moving. At the far edge of the creek, between two fence posts. A figure, hunched. I lean forward, heart pounding. I circle the figure with the drone camera. It's human-shaped, but still. I call to Ruiz. Freeze it. Mark coordinates. He marks them. I grab my rifle. We move in, I say, now. We pull onto the pasture, stepping over the fence. The ground is wet. The clay sticks to my boots. The figure is 30 yards away, half hidden in brush. I raise my voice. Sheriff's Department. Come out with your hands, now. No response. The figure shifts, then bolts toward the creek. I fire a warning shot overhead. Tracker lunges forward, leash taut. Ruiz follows with his weapon drawn. The figure jumps the cattle guard and disappears into the creek bed. We sprint after, boots slipping. I slip into the shallow water, rifle raised. The figure splashes across the mud, heading upstream, toward the windmill and the night beyond. I call into the radio. He's running north along the creek. Get units on foot and ATV. Don't let him get away. Tracker barks, charging ahead. I follow, adrenaline burning. The creek banks narrow. The moon, hidden behind clouds, offers no light. My flashlight beam dances across poplar trunks, across driftwood. Then the figure stops at the base of a lone cottonwood. Moonlight breaks through the clouds, illuminating his face. Walter Dean. He stands, drenched, panting. Relief and confusion hit me. I lower my rifle slightly. Dean? I say. He looks at me, eyes wild. Sheriff! He rasps. He stands there, water dripping from his shoulders, face pale in the beam of my flashlight. For a moment I think I'm hallucinating. Dean, alive after all this. Then I catch my breath. Dean, I say again, voice low. You okay? He doesn't answer. His eyes are wild, half relief, half something else. He lifts a hand and wipes mud from his cheek. They told me you'd never stop looking, he says, voice hollow. I thought you'd give up. I step forward, rifle still raised but relaxed. Get out of the creek, I say. Let's get you back to the road. He nods, but he doesn't move. He looks downstream where the water disappears into darkness. She's still there, he whispers. My little girl, she's still there. My heart drops. Who took her? Dean's shoulders shake. He closes his eyes. I don't know. I woke up in the dark, strapped to something cold. I heard her cry, then nothing. He opens his eyes. I ran. I glance at Tracker, still on point, hackles raised. The dog growls softly, eyes on the trees. I scan the tree line. Someone's out there. Someone who's been watching us. Dean's lip trembles. He swallows. I left her behind. I sheath my rifle. You did what you could. I kneel and put a hand on his arm. We'll get her back. He nods once, then staggers. I catch him under the arms and help him climb out of the creek. His boots sink in the mud. I pull him free. He coughs, water in his lungs. I pat his back. Easy, I say. We've got medics coming. He looks at me, eyes burning. I don't want medics. Deputy Ruiz, I start. Dean shakes his head. I need to find her now. I glance at Ruiz, who's training his light on the gully mouth. He steps forward. Sheriff, protocol. I raise a hand. I know. I turn back to Dean. You're coming with me. We'll sweep the creek bottom, grid search. You'll ride with K9, but you don't go off on your own. Dean's jaw tightens. He nods. I let him lean on me as we head back to the creek bed. The mud squishes beneath us. I can feel his desperation. Fatherhood stripped to its rawest edge. Tracker leads us to a fallen log where the water pools. I crouch and shine my light under the log. The mud is stirred, roots torn. I taste bile. I press my gloved fingers into the silt. There's a drag mark, long, curved, as if something heavy was pulled. I trace it toward deeper water. Dean's voice is a whisper. She wouldn't leave me. I stand. She was left. He swears under his breath. I grip his shoulder. We find her. We push upstream, wading through the creek's chill. The water reaches my knees. I set my flashlight on my helmet to free both hands. Tracker pads ahead, nose to the ground. I follow the prints, Dean's footprints beside the child's, then only Dean's, then nothing. The banks grow steeper. Roots jut like claws. The creek bends left toward a stand of dead willows. Their branches hang low, scratching the surface. I hear something, a soft sob. My heart hammers. There, Dean points. I train my light on a hollow between roots. There, half hidden, is a girl's leg, small, bare, pale against the mud. I sprint forward, drop to my knees, and pull her free. The girl is limp, eyes closed, breathing shallow. I cup her face. Hey, hey. I shake her gently. Her eyelids flutter. She coughs. Water trickles from her mouth. Dean drops to his knees beside me. He presses his face to hers. Emily? His voice cracks. She nods, eyes brimming. He hugs her, rocking back and forth. I catch my breath. This is what I live for. The rescue, the impossible hope. I pull out my radio. Unit 7, victim recovered. Juvenile found at creek under willows alive. Send medics immediate. Static crackles. Then, copy Unit 7, medics en route. Ruiz moves in to help lift Emily. She clings to Dean, sobbing. I stay low, scanning the shadows. The willows whisper overhead. Something about this place feels wrong. Too easy, too quiet now that the girl is safe. Dean stands, carrying Emily. I rise, rifle in hand. Let's clear out, I say. We back out of the creek, tracker at my side. The mud releases its grip on my boots. I glance at the gully and the ditch beyond. The water flows onward, indifferent. We reach the shoulder. Medics rush out, take Emily and Dean. I step aside, watching as they disappear into the ambulance. Dean turns and catches my eye. He mouths, "Thank you." I nod. I climb into the back of the ambulance briefly to check Emily's condition. Moderate hypothermia, minor abrasions. She grips my hand. "Thank you, Sheriff." Her voice is small, brittle. I step back out. The ambulance doors close. The engine idles, then pulls away. Lights reflecting off the wet road. I watch until it's gone. Ruiz approaches, shaking his head. "Lucky kid." "Look," I say, runs out. I glance at the creek mouth. The water is smooth again. No sign of Dean. I pick up the muddy shirt fragment I bagged. It's torn along a seam, fibers loose. I bag that too. I kneel by the creek, pressing a fingerprint kit into the mud beside Dean's boot print. I dust for prints. Mine, Dean's, and another set. Wide, adult, not Dean's. Someone else was here, pulled Dean under. They left the girl, then vanished. I lift the latent prints on tape and place them in evidence. I pause, listening to the creek. The mist drifts in swirling sheets. The windmill moans in the distance. I picture Harlan's farmhouse, the candles, the chair, the scanner. Circles of evidence. This is another circle. Dean, Emily, then someone else. The pattern repeats. I stand, brushing mud from my knees. Ruiz joins me. "What now?" I look at him. "We follow the prints. Lab will run them. But I want a perimeter patrol out here until daylight, and air support to grid the ranch land south of the creek." I pause. "And I want every deputy in Terrell County to review every missing persons file from the last 2 years. See if there are other patterns, other girls, other roads." Ruiz nods. "On it." I tap my mic. Unit 7 to dispatch. Securing scene until shift change. Possible suspect prints recovered. send CSI and air unit. I turn off the mic and exhale. The tension in my shoulders doesn't ease. The gully lies quiet behind me. The screams never came. The horror lived in waiting, in the absence of sound until the creek yields its secrets. I look back at the field. The cattle guard glints. The road stretches empty toward the windmill. I think of Dean's jacket and shirt, tangled in roots beneath the water. I think of that scarecrow note. Silence speaks. I feel its truth. The quiet carries the story, if you know how to listen. Ruiz and Tracker move off to set the perimeter. I remain, hands in pockets, watching the dark water flow. The final piece, the one who dragged Dean under, remains unseen. The case file will grow thicker. The night will yield reports and charts. But the real truth will stay here, in the mud and the curve of the creek, whispering beneath the surface. I step away, glancing once more at the silent gully. My boots leave fresh prints beside Dean's. I'm part of the story now. I walk back to the truck, voice low into the mic. Unit 7 clear to return. No one answers. The radio is silent. I switch it off. I drive away, headlights on low beam, leaving the creek behind. In the rearview mirror, the dark water gleams. I can't see the roots, the shirt, the prints. Only the road, mist-lined, stretching into more silence. And I carry that silence with me. The weight of a father's fear, a daughter's terror, and the knowledge that some roads never end. I step back into the patrol truck and close the door softly, as if shutting out the creek's whispers. Ruiz slides in beside me. Tracker curls on the floor. I don't start the engine immediately. Instead, I sit in the dim glow of the dashboard, eyes on the dark road ahead. My fingers tap the steering wheel. The heater hums. The child's teddy bear, now bagged in evidence, rests on the seat between us. Its one missing eye seems to stare at me through the plastic. I pull out the Polaroid, Dean and Emily smiling in sunnier times, and hold it under the dome light. The flash of white is almost painful. We've got prints, Ruiz says, breaking the quiet. Lab confirms 2 sets. Adult male, adult female, neither match Dean or the girl. I nod, jaw tight. Female prints, could be the abductor. I close my eyes, picturing the gully, the scarecrow, the empty bank. She left the girl, took the man. Tracker lifts his head, ears pricked. He whines softly, then stands and presses his nose to the door. I open the window an inch. The mist drifts in. I smell wet earth, mesquite, something metallic. We'll run perimeter patrol, I say. But I want one more sweep of the creek at first light. Boats, if we have to. I glance at Ruiz. And notify Crockett and Van Zant counties. Could be crossings. He loads notes into his tablet. Already on it. I finally start the engine. We roll onto the highway, lights off, crawling toward the station. The road's center line fades under fog. I keep speed under 20 miles per hour. Every mile I expect to see footprints on the asphalt, the girl's sneaker, a flash of movement. But there's only road and mist. At the station I brief the incoming shift. Faces pale, eyes heavy. This story will keep them up. I assign officers to review every missing persons chart, age, sex, last known location, items found. I underline patterns, creek beds, oil field roads, abandoned structures, all within a 50-mile radius. The board fills with colored pins, a map of disappearance. Back in my office, I close the door. I light a single desk lamp, low, amber. I spread out evidence. The sneaker, the teddy bear, the shirt fragment, the note. I trace the note's letters with a gloved fingertip. Silence speaks. I think of every silent gap on my scanner, every unanswered call. I reach into my drawer and pull out an envelope. Surveillance photos from the broken spur bar. grainy images of Dean leaving with someone, a woman hood up. I place them next to the Polaroid. The same woman's boots, the same slim build. The lab prints might match her. I lean in, her face is hidden. I circle her in red. My phone buzzes. A text from dispatch. Client ID 1134. New missing adult female, Van Zandt County. Last seen near FM 316. I tap reply. Add to board. Check prints against evidence. I pocket the phone. I sit back, exhausted. The desk lamp flickers. Outside, the station is quiet. Only the hum of computers and the low beat of the security camera. I close my eyes for a moment and see the creek, the gully, Dean's daughter in my arms. I see Dean's face when he whispered, "They told me you'd never stop looking." I open my notebook and write, 1. Identify the woman in surveillance photo. 2. Trace her movements over last 72 hours. 3. Expand search along creek tributaries. 4. Notify family. Prepare support. I pause at line 5, leave it blank. That one is for the truth I don't yet have. I stand and flip off the lamp. The office goes dark. I step into the hallway. Tracker pads behind me. I reach the evidence room. Key code, gate buzzes. The sneaker and bear sit on a shelf under fluorescent light. I pause, then shut the door. The shelf is silent. Back in the hallway, I pass the briefing room, where deputies sleep in chairs. I nod to Ruiz, who's finishing notes. He looks up, offers a stiff grin. I return it, though it doesn't reach my eyes. I walk outside. The air is colder now, 28 degrees Fahrenheit. I breathe deeply. The fog parts around the street lamp. I look north toward the county road, then south toward the windmill's faint silhouette. Both directions feel infinite. I radio dispatch one more time. Unit 7 secure station. I'm going home to file reports. Backup team remains on scene. No answer. The radio's silent, an emptiness that feels familiar. I drive off, headlights bright against the fog. The road stretches ahead. My home is 20 miles away. I'll file digital reports, call Dean's wife with updates, coordinate the morning search. Then I'll go home, close the door, and try to sleep. But the creek's whisper will follow me. The note's words will echo in my mind. Silence speaks. By dawn, the river of data, prints, photos, pins on a map will flow into a pattern. I'll chase that pattern until it leads me back to this gully, to the woman who took them, to the silence at the heart of it. But for now I drive. The heater hums. Tracker's muzzle rests on the console. I glance at the rearview mirror. Empty road, drifting mist. I think of Dean and Emily, of lost fathers and found daughters. I think of the emptiness behind their eyes. I kill the headlights before we crest the final rise. The world beyond the windshield is pitch. Tracker's panting is the only sound inside the cab. I cut the engine and we sit, breathing, listening. We're parked where County Road 102 bends around the old Wiley oil field. The windmill stands sentinel on the hill, its red beacon slicing the darkness once every 6 seconds. I open the door quietly. The mist drifts in, cold and damp. I step onto the gravel, boots crunching. "Stay," I whisper to Tracker. He sits, ears forward. I jog to the tailgate, unlatch it, and pull out the evidence bag with Dean's jacket and the knife pin note. The bag's plastic crackles. I unzip it and hold the note up to the windmill's flicker. Silence speaks. The letters gleam red. The knife's tip glints. I refold it and slip it into my coat pocket. I move to the passenger side and retrieve the Polaroid of Dean and Emily. I tuck it into my breast pocket, face out. I need to see their smiles close to my heart. I close the door and jog back to the driver's side. Tracker stands and follows, nose to the ground. I climb in. Ruiz watches from the cab. "What now?" he says softly. I tap the Polaroid through my pocket. We go in blind. He nods. I start the engine. We roll forward without lights, hugging the road's edge. The gully mouth lies just ahead. Dark indent in the fence line. I point. There. Tracker's tail thumps. I kill the engine again. We slip out into the pasture, moving single file behind the dog. The ground is slick clay, cold. I breathe shallow, watching each step. The windmill's beacon silhouettes the gully, half-hidden trench cutting into the earth. We reach the gully's edge. I crouch, hand on Tracker's harness. The dog growls softly, then plunges in. I follow him down the bank. The walls are steep, packed earth flecked with roots. The beam from my helmet light swings across churned mud. Prints, Dean's, my own, and another adult's, male and female. They go deeper. I catch Ruiz's light moving behind me. He slips in. We advance slowly. The creek's distant murmur echoes below. The gully narrows to 6 feet. I pause at a fallen branch. Mud-smeared handprint. I press my gloved finger next to it. The hand is too small for Dean, too large for Emily. Female adult. I lift the imprint with fingerprint tape. Evidence. The hush in the gully is absolute. Even the creek sounds distant. I advance. Tracker stops at a root-tangled hollow. I crouch. Fresh footprints lead under the roots. I lie on my stomach and slip my arm under. Fingers close on fabric. I pull. A soaked scrap of cotton. Women's blouse, floral pattern. I bag it. Ruiz calls. Thermal drone overhead. I glance up through the narrow gap. A red dot sweeps the gully rim. Good. Air support. I stand. The gully opens into a wider trench where water pools. I scan with night vision. Nothing human warm. I switch to white light. The pool is still. Then a ripple. Something under the surface. A shape moves slowly. Long hair drifting. I freeze. "Deputy," I whisper. He's beside me. I point. He raises his rifle light. We step to the pool's edge. The water is shallow, knee-deep but dark. I kneel and reach in. Fingers brush hair. I pull up a tangled wig. Synthetic strands, dark brown. I bag it. The pool's bottom shifts. I lean back. That's not her. Ruiz's radio crackles. Unit 7. Thermal picks up movement 30 yards east, near fence line. I nod. We climb out of the trench and hurry toward the fence. The mist parts around the windmill's base. The fence is down, a gap where someone cut the wire. Beyond, a narrow path through mesquite. The drone's red dot drifts there. Tracker surges forward. I follow, heart pounding. The path slopes up to a low rise. At the top, I see her, the adult female, crouched beside a white SUV, Dean's truck. Her back to us, hands on the tailgate. She's humming softly. I raise my voice. "Sheriff's Department, get on the ground." She freezes, then slowly stands. She turns, face streaked with mud, eyes bright. She looks younger than I expected, late 20s. Her lips curve. "You listen too much," she says. Her voice is calm, almost gentle. I step forward, rifle raised. "You have Walter Dean?" She tilts her head. He's safe, for now. I glance at the truck. Keys in ignition, doors locked. No sign of Dean or Emily. She steps around the rear, into the light of my torch. Her clothes are soaked. She holds something in her hand, a small music box. She flips it open. A tinny lullaby begins. I swallow. "Where is he?" She smiles sadly. "He's where the silence is loudest." I tense. She clicks the music box shut. The world goes silent. No wind, no creek, no drone. Only the hum of my own blood in my ears. She tilts the box. Inside is a photo. Dean, tied to a chair inside a dilapidated oil field shack. Candlelight flickers. His eyes are open, fear, but also relief, as if he sees her. I step closer. Let him go. She shakes her head. He listened. You all listened. He found her once. She nods toward Emily's rescue. But he couldn't save himself. He left pieces behind. I glance at the box. Next to Dean in the photo lies the child's sneaker, half buried in snow. But this is oilfield dirt. The season's changed. She toyed with him. I glance at Ruiz. He's scanning the shack through the brush. Thermal sees Dean's heat signature inside. Open fire, I whisper. Ruiz hesitates. The woman's lips curve. She lifts the music box like a chalice. Let the silence speak. Before I can react, Tracker lunges, knocking the box from her hands. It skitters across gravel, latch snapping open. The lullaby warbles to a stop. She screams, soft, furious, and bolts toward the shack. I raise my rifle. Stop! She disappears into the darkness. I hesitate only a moment, then follow. The path to the shack is narrow, overgrown. The drone light flickers ahead. I push through the last mesquite branch and enter the oilfield yard. The shack stands broken down, windows boarded, door ajar. Heat glows inside. I slip in, rifle first. The air is thick with smoke and candle wax. Dean sits bound in a wooden chair, eyes red. Emily's sneaker lies on the floor. The woman stands before him, face half in shadow. She holds a length of chain. She turns to me. You hear it? I lower my rifle slightly. Let him go. She lifts the chain and pulls. Dean's body jerks. Emily's sneaker rattles. The silence presses in. My eardrums ache. She steps back. Silence speaks louder than words. She raises a hand. Candle flames flicker. The shack groans. Tracker growls. Ruiz's silhouette fills the doorway. The woman smiles, then vanishes, melting into shadow. I spin. She's gone. Only Dean remains, bound. I rush to him, drop to my knees. Deputy, get these ties off. I yank the rope. Dean slumps forward. I catch him. He's alive, breathing ragged. I unbind his wrists. He looks at me, confusion and relief. Sheriff? I nod. We got you. He sways. I lift him. He's lighter than I expected. I half carry him toward the door. The shack quakes, wood splintering. Candlelight flickers out. Darkness swallows us. In the black, Dean whispers, "Thank you." I guide him outside. The night air is cold. The mist has returned. Ruiz helps me lower Dean to the ground. Tracker stands guard. I scan the yard. No sign of her. No footprints. Only the empty oil field, the silent windmill, the road beyond. The drone hovers overhead, its red dot drifting away. Dean leans on me. I keep my arm around him. He's trembling. I look at the shack's broken door, charred, hanging. The silence inside is absolute. I radio dispatch. Unit 7, victim recovered. Suspect evaded. Request perimeter sweep and air recon. I close my eyes. The windmill's beacon slices past us. I feel the ache of the silence she left behind. Dean's daughter's sneaker rests at my feet. I pick it up and place it in his hand. He nods, tears glinting. I step back. Let's go home. He stands unsteadily. I guide him toward the truck. The world is quiet except for the mist softening every sound. The tension in my shoulders eases slightly, but the hollow remains. As we climb into the cab, I glance once at the shack. The oil field is empty again. No trace of her. Just darkness. I start the engine. We drive off, headlights on low. The road stretches into the mist. The windmill's beacon fades behind us. The mist has settled low across the pasture, swirling around fence posts and the windmill's base. I glance at Dean slumped in the passenger seat, eyes closed, exhaustion finally catching him. Deputy Ruiz moves to the rear, checking the teddy bear and sneaker in their evidence bags. Tracker scratches at the door, eager to move. I kill the engine. Silence presses in. No birds, no wind, only the faint drip of condensation from mesquite leaves. I slide open the door and step down, boots sinking in mud. I inhale the cold air. It tastes like iron and old rain. "Come on," I murmur, and Dean stirs, blinking against the gloom. I offer my arm, he takes it. We head for the gully, following the dog team's low-beam flash. The drone's red dot hovers overhead, a watchful eye. The gully mouth yawns before us, a dark wound in the earth. Tracker leads, nose low. I follow Dean, guiding him over the lip. The trench walls rise on either side, clay streaked with roots. The only light is our headlamps, carving narrow cones through the dark. We advance to the pool where I found the wig. The water is glass still, reflecting our beams. Dean stops, gaze fixed on the surface. "She was here," he whispers. His voice echoes. I kneel and touch the water. It's frigid. I slip a hand beneath the surface, tracing the gully floor. Roots snag my glove. I pull free a length of rope. Coarse hemp, frayed. Evidence bag. The rope's fibers match the knots that bound Dean in the shack photo. I rise, slipping the rope into my pocket. "Good find," I say. Dean nods, swallowing. He rubs his arms. The creek's chill seeps into his bones. We move deeper, following prints in the clay. The dog pauses at a fallen plank. Old barnwood, splintered. I lift it. Beneath lies a shallow cavity. Inside, a small boot, half buried. Emily's sneaker, missing its mate. I bag it. Dean exhales sharply. "Why leave one?" he asks. I shrug. "Message." He shakes his head, torture of hope. We press on until the gully opens into the wider trench. The remains of an oil pipeline lie half collapsed. Rusted pipes form a skeletal arch overhead. Shadows cling beneath. I sweep my light along the beams. A shape flickers at the far end. A woman's silhouette. I raise my voice. "Sheriff's Department, come out." No answer. Tracker growls. I step forward, rifle ready. Dean stands behind me, trembling. "Stay behind me," I whisper. We approach the arch. The shape melts into shadow. The air smells of oil and rot. My boots clank on metal, then the sound. A soft humming, like the music box lullaby slowed to a dirge. I halt. "Stop," I murmur to Dean. He freezes. The humming grows louder, mechanical, warped. It comes from beneath the pipeline. I peer down, a narrow crawl space, beams overhead, mud floor. The humming echoes from within. I flash my light inside. A row of candles lining the tunnel, their flames flickering. In the center, a small figure curled in a fetal position. Emily. My heart jumps. I step down, Dean behind me, coaxing. "Emily, sheriff's here." She lifts her head, eyes wide, tear-rimmed. Relief floods her face. She crawls toward me. I scoop her up. She clutches my neck. "Daddy," she whispers. Dean moves forward, voice breaking. "Em!" He kneels, arms trembling. Emily reaches for him. He enfolds her. They weep together. I lower my rifle, eyes stinging. Behind us, the humming stops. Silence snaps back, heavier than before. The woman's silhouette stands at the tunnel entrance. She's blocking our exit. She holds the music box open, empty inside. No lullaby, only the crackle of candle flames. I stand, rifle raised. Step away. She tilts her head. "You hear it?" she asks softly. I glance at Dean and Emily. They cling to each other, safe for now. I steel myself. "This ends." She smiles. Candlelight dances on her face. Pale, calm, unafraid. Then she steps aside, disappearing into shadow. The tunnel behind her vanishes. The crawl space collapsed, mud packed. Only the candles remain, flickering in a neat row. I guide Dean and Emily out. The arch creaks. We emerge into the trench. The windmills. Beacon flickers overhead. The dog trots forward, sniffing. I gather the candles, 6 in all, wax pooled on mud. I bag them. Dean scoops up Emily. He looks at me, gratitude and horror mingled. "Thank you," he says. His voice breaks. I nod. Let's go. We climb from the gully. The mist parts as we reach the fence line. The world outside is pale with approaching dawn. The drone's red dot retreats. Back at the patrol truck, medics wait. Emily is checked again. She's exhausted, but stable. Dean signs release papers, hands shaking. He thanks the medics, then turns to me. "How do I ever repay you?" I touch his shoulder. "Live, that's payment." He nods, eyes wet. He lifts Emily into the ambulance. She waves. He closes the door. The ambulance pulls away, lights off now, disappearing into morning haze. I watch until it's gone. Then I turn to Ruiz. "Secure scene. We've got 6 evidence items. Rope, 2 sneakers, teddy bear, blouse, candles." He catalogs them. I stand in the fog, watching. The windmill's beacon slows to its rhythm. The pasture is empty again. I climb into the cab. Tracker jumps up, panting. I start the engine. We drive back toward the station. Headlights low. The map of pins grows brighter with daylight. In the rearview mirror, the gully lies silent. Candles abandoned, prints washed by mist. The hush holds its secrets. The sky is paling in the east. First light seeping under low clouds. I don't move immediately. I listen to the breathing of Tracker curled at my feet, the soft click of Ruiz securing evidence bags in the back. The world feels impossibly quiet, as if holding its breath for what comes next. I climb out onto the gravel shoulder. The mist parts around the windmill's base. Its red beacon still turns, a metronome in the dawn. I breathe deeply, cold air filling my lungs, and step toward the gully one last time. Dean's daughter, Emily, and Dean himself have been escorted away by medics. Their silhouettes disappeared into the ambulance's glow. What remains is this hollow, this scar in the earth, the trench where she held them, the candles that burned their message, the prints and scraps we collected. All evidence of a crime that almost defies belief. I move down into the gully. My boots press new prints beside the old ones. Mine, Dean's, hers. The clay is already drying, cracking at the edges. I kneel by the candles. 6 stubby pillars of wax, warped by water and heat. I scoop one into an evidence bag, then another, until they're all packed. Each flicker was a heartbeat in the dark. Now they're silent. I stand and follow Tracker out of the ditch. He pads ahead, nose to the ground, searching for any last trace. The dog stops at the fallen plank where I found the boot. I bag that too. Each item is a frozen syllable in the story she wrote here. Each one we carry away leaves the gully emptier. At the fence line I pause. The world beyond is waking. A lone car on CR 102, the windmill's beacon slowing. I think of Dean's hollow eyes, of Emily's small shoulders trembling. I think of the woman who orchestrated it all, who vanished into shadows, leaving only scraps and riddles. Ruiz catches up. "We've got everything," he says quietly. I nod. "Let's lock it down until CSI arrives." I radio dispatch. "Unit 7 clear, scene secured for forensics." The click of the radio seems loud in the hush. I pocket the mic. We climb back into the truck. I kill the headlights. We roll away in darkness pale with dawn, Tracker's silhouette in the back window. The pasture recedes. The gully becomes a dark line in the mist. Inside, Ruiz profiles the evidence on his tablet. Rope fibers, boot fragments, blouse, wig, candles, note. Lot of work ahead, he says. I lean back, eyes closed. Yeah? He glances at me. You okay? I open my eyes. I will be. I pause. But the silence, it's louder now. We drive the 20 miles back to the station in near silence. Each mile feels heavier, as if the road itself remembers what happened. I keep glancing at the rearview mirror, expecting to see footprints on the asphalt, a small sneaker lying in the gutter, a candle flame drifting on the wind. But there is none. Only mist and empty road. At the station, I supervise the unloading of evidence. Officers file in, blinking against the fluorescent lights. They look to me for direction, questions, next steps. I assign tasks, forensic lab, print analysis, interview schedules. The board fills with new notes. A fresh case file is opened. Case 2025-1027, Dean abduction and child endangerment. I step into my office. The door closes with a click that echoes. I turn on the desk lamp. On my desk lie the Polaroid of Dean and Emily, the surveillance stills of the woman, the note. Silence speaks. I place each item in a row. I study them. The Polaroid, sunlit smiles, innocence, frozen in time. The surveillance photo, hooded figure, face hidden, boots identical to prints in the gully. The note, jagged letters, knife pinholes still fresh. I press my fingertips to the Polaroid's surface. I feel the weight of hope and guilt entwined in that image. Dean thought finding Emily meant closure, but he lost a piece of himself in the gully. We all did. I open my notebook and begin to write the final entry. Victims recovered. Suspect unidentified at large. Evidence secured. Case moves to lab analysis. Pattern matches unsolved disappearances along FM 316, Wiley oil field, and Terrell County creek beds. Recommend multi-county task force. Emphasis on female suspect matching surveillance. All deputies to review protocols for off-road solo searches. Reminder, silence is not absence. I pause at the last line. I underline it twice. I close the notebook. I rise and walk to the window. Dawn has broken fully. The windmill's beacon is silent now. The pasture glistens with dew. Telephone poles line the road in a straight, unbroken line. Each one once held missing person posters. Empty staples remain. I imagine new posters going up. Photographs of Dean's abductor, grainy but hopeful. Names and numbers to call, a hotline, a community on alert. I turn from the window, tracker pads in, rests his head on my foot. I kneel and scratch behind his ears. He sighs, content. I stand. I walk back to the evidence room to lock away the final bags. The door closes. The shelves stand ready for the next case. I run my hand along the cool metal of the locker. I think of the rookie lost in a similar gully years ago, never found. I think of the families who wait. I think of the silence that follows every search. Outside, the station's neon sign flickers off. The world moves on. Morning shift arrives, coffee brews in the break room, calls come in. But in my office, the darkness lingers. I switch off the desk lamp. The room goes dim. Only the glow of the computer monitors remains. I sit at my desk, eyes on the blank screen. I type a single sentence into the report. Silence speaks, listen, and then I leave it unsent. I close the file. I stand and walk out of the office, down the hallway, past sleeping deputies, past the evidence door, toward the exit. The station doors swing open onto the bright morning. I step outside into the sun-washed air. I breathe deeply. The case file will grow. The lab results will come. Detectives will chase leads. But I know the heart of it lives here, in the quiet between radio calls, in the echo of footsteps on mud, in the spaces where voices should be, but are gone. I climb into my personal vehicle, Tracker's sleeping on the front seat. I start the engine, the heater hums. I drive away from the station, leaving behind the posters, the boards, the fluorescent buzz. The road ahead is empty, shining with dew. In my rearview mirror, the station recedes. Its windows reflect the rising sun. The windmill stands on the horizon, silent. Telephone poles march beside the road, empty staples glinting. I slow the truck to a crawl. I whisper to the empty cab, "I'm listening." And I carry that promise down the highway, into the silence that speaks more loudly than words. I heard the call come in just after midnight. Unit 24, possible abandoned vehicle on County Road 115, south of Grand Saline. Engines warm, no sign of occupant. I was already sliding behind the wheel of my cruiser. Radio set to 10.7. Lights off, windows down. The cicadas were loud enough to rattle the dash. Heat haze blurred the taillights of the rig ahead. I followed the coordinates through mesquite and scrub until the road narrowed to nothing but gravel and rusted pipe fence. The truck sat half off the road. A white Dodge Ram, engine idling, keys in the ignition. Doors locked, no footprints in the dust. I killed the engine and stepped onto the gravel. The crunch echoed. I flipped on my tack light and swept the cab. Empty cup in the holder. No purse, no phone, no note. Just a running engine and a locked door. I radioed dispatch. Unit 24 on scene, 10-7. Vehicle registered to Mary Ellen Shaw, Andrews County. Reported missing 6 hours ago. I circled the Ram, hand resting on my holster, though I knew I wasn't walking into an ambush. The quiet pressed in, an empty wait. I shone my light across the scrub. Nothing moved except the wind stirring dry grass. I thought of the runaway juvenile I'd cleared less than an hour before. That one ended with a doorbell ring at dawn. This felt different. I found the footprint by the passenger door. One wet print, size 11, pointing into the scrub. No second print. As if someone stepped out, then vanished. I knelt, traced the outline in the gravel. Even Tracker, my canine partner, would have lost the scent here. The wind blows too hard, dust settles too fast. I stood and clicked my flashlight off. Dispatch, I've got a single footprint leading south into the brush. No sign of disturbance beyond the one print. Request grid search first light. They copy that and I climbed back into the cruiser. I drove the perimeter slowly, beam slicing through darkness. The road stretched east and west, nothing but fence and field. At the cattle guard, the print disappeared. Sand so fine it swallowed boot treads whole. I stepped out and listened. The only sounds were my own breathing and the low hum of the engine. I wanted to call Mary Ellen's husband, explain that there was nothing left to find, but I knew better than to promise answers. By dawn, deputies fanned out with flashlights like fireflies. I watched from my cruiser as they combed the scrub. They found a child's sneaker, pink, mud-caked, 12 yards from the Ram. Not hers, too small. We bagged it and logged it. The pink sneaker went into evidence. The Ram went towed. Mary Ellen remained missing. The report went cold by week's end. I kept the sneaker's photo on my desk. Something about that bright pink against the gray dirt haunted me. Weeks later, I ran records on similar calls. Crockett County, Culberson, Terrell, each. Warm engine, locked doors, no sign of occupant. Sometimes a shoe, a wallet, a jacket. Always one trace, then nothing. No suspects, no motive, no bodies. The files stacked up. Inactive, they stamped them. I never closed them. I couldn't. At night, I'd drive back out to County Road 115. Park under the same oil field flare glow. Engine off, radio silent. I'd sit with the drone of cicadas and the distant pump jacks, thinking maybe this time I'd see something. A flicker of movement in the brush, a shape, but nothing. Just the hush. When I closed my eyes at home, I heard the drip of the kitchen faucet and thought it was footsteps. I kept my service weapon by the bed and the tack light within reach. My wife asked why. I said, "Bad dreams." She nodded and turned away. I wondered if she believed me. One October night, I got a 1013 on a deputy down call by Lake Palestine. Officer Santos found a pair of boots floating under the bridge. Ankle deep, toes pointed downstream, no body. I waded in. Water was cold, still. I reached for the boots. They drifted away. I felt something brush my leg beneath the surface. I flipped and splashed, but there was nothing. No footprints on the bank, no drag marks in the mud. Just empty boots and dark water. We called divers. They found nothing, no ID, no body, just that void beneath the bridge. Santos wouldn't go near that water again, neither would I. Months turned into a year. The cases multiplied. Each new missing person left behind the same echo. Engine warm, doors locked, silence. I stopped bringing those files home. I couldn't stand the wait. At the station, they gathered dust. Then came the photo. No note, no sender. It showed my cruiser on CR 115, the first scene. Headlights on, deputy silhouette inside. Timestamp 20 minutes earlier, when I was at the station. Someone staged it, someone watched. I showed the photo around. They laughed it off. "Prank," they said. But I knew better. The laugh stuck in my throat. I stayed late that night, staring at the map on the wall. Red pins for each case. Andrews, Crockett, Van Zandt, Culberson, Terrell. A constellation of vanishings. I traced a finger along the line of CR 115, the pink sneaker, the boots by the river, the silent ranch barn. Each pin felt like a weight pulling me down. I drove home at dawn. The sun rose pink over the oil fields. I passed the spot where Mary Ellen's ram had sat. Now the fence post was unremarkable. No sign remained. I kept going until the porch light came into view. Inside, I opened my desk drawer and stared at the evidence bag with the sneaker photo. I whispered, "I haven't forgotten." The drawer clicked shut. Silence answered, so loud it pressed my chest. I went to bed without sleeping. The radio beside me crackled once, then nothing. I reached for it. The static felt familiar. I lay there, listening to the silence, waiting. I wake before dawn now, every morning, even on days off. Habit. The rising sun means little. These roads are empty at noon, at midnight, at 3 in the afternoon. I drive out to CR 115 again, slip behind the wheel, and let the engine idle. The heat haze drifts. The fence posts lean. The gravel is loose. I watch the spot where the ram sat. Just a patch of dirt now, sun-bleached and unremarkable. My phone vibrates, a text from an unlisted number. "Heard you're looking?" No signature, no context. I thumb it off, don't reply. Whoever's watching doesn't need to talk, they just need me to know they're there. I head back toward town, cut through Old Mill Road, cross the bridge over Kickapoo Creek. The river's low, summer drought. On the bank, I see something white. A plastic grocery bag caught in a fallen branch. I pull over. The branch rattles in the breeze. The bag flaps. I grab it and find inside a single sheet of notebook paper, edges torn. On it, scrawled in neat block letters, "Stop looking." No name, no signature, just that. My pulse speeds. I fold it, pocket it. I think of Mrs. Delgado, waiting at her porch, Cruz's hat in my hand. I think of the pink sneaker, the boots, the locked trucks. I think of the silence. I drive on. At the station, I stash the note in my locker. I don't mention it. I log in, check emails, routine memos, a training bulletin on evidence room security, a reminder about body camera updates. Nothing about abandoned vehicles or missing people. Those get buried in cold case files. By mid-morning, I'm restless. I pull the files on Daniel Soto, Crockett County case. I reread the report, truck found, FM 316, engine warm, doors locked, single whisper on the radio. The note, help. The pink sneaker found by CR 115. The cowboy boot hanging from a fence post in Terrell. The children's jacket under the cattle guard in Culberson. Patterns emerge, but no clues. I sketch a timeline. Each disappearance happens 6 to 8 hours after last radio contact. Each on a rural back road. Each with exactly one piece of personal property left behind. I print the timeline, tape it to the wall beside my desk, connect the counties with red string. Van Zant to Crockett to Culberson to Terrell to Andrews. A crooked pentagon of vanishings. In the center, CR 115. My partner, Deputy Harris, stops by. You grabbing lunch? He glances at the wall. Planning a crime scene art exhibit? I force a smile. Just mapping old calls, cold cases. He shrugs. Okay, I'm grabbing a burger. You in? I shake my head. Got to finish reports. He nods, walks off. I hear the click of his boots. I stare at the map. Harris doesn't know. He's never been out to those roads at night. He doesn't feel the weight. Lunch comes as a coffee from the station break room. I sip it black. The bitterness grounds me. I scroll news on my phone. Local stories. High school fundraiser, county fair schedule, someone's dog found. Normal life. I close the phone. My world is the cold hum of the cruiser engine, the static on the radio, the empty roads. At 2 p.m., I get the call. Unit 24, 10 to 8, possible sighting of missing juvenile near FM 49, Van Zant. My heart jumps. Could be that runaway from last month or someone else. I grab my jacket and cruiser keys, out the door. FM 49 is a ribbon of asphalt through pasture and pine. By the time I arrive, the witness has gone home. They saw a kid hitchhiking. Young teen, backpack, thumb out. Didn't look hurt, maybe a runaway. I drive the stretch slowly. No sign, no footprints. I check cell tower pings, nothing. I park at the intersection with CR 115 for a moment. Let the engine idle, the cicadas thrumming, the fence line. I glance at the dirt patch. I think someone is watching me watch. Back at the station, I file the sighting as unverified. I stay late, running license plate reader data, checking traffic cam captures. Nothing. The station empties. I pack up. At the door, Captain Ruiz intercepts me. You okay, Walker? You look beat. I shrug. Just the usual. He lowers his voice. Heard you've been poking around those old cases. Be careful. Politics in Crockett County don't like state line investigations. Someone's grumbling. He taps his temple. Heads up. I nod. I know. I've felt the eyes. That night, I don't go home. I drive to the old hidden campground off County Road 23, where no one camps anymore. The signs half fallen. The pit toilets boarded up. I park under a lone street lamp that barely works. I sit in the cruiser, engine off. I open the glove box, take out the missing person flyers. Mary Ellen Shaw, Daniel Soto, Cruz, the others. I spread them on the seat. Faces stare back. I pull out my notebook, stained, dog-eared, and write, "They are real, I will find them." I draw a line under it. I close the book. I pocket the flyers. I step out. The night air is cool. The wind rustles dead leaves. I walk to the center of the campground, shine my light on the empty fire ring. It looks like an eye socket, dark and hollow. I listen. Nothing but wind and distance. I whisper, "I'm still here." My voice sounds small. I walk back to the cruiser. As I climb in, the radio crackles. A single syllable. "Walker?" Then static. Not keyed by me. My hands tighten on the wheel. I reply, "Go ahead." Silence. I click the mic off. I drive home with no headlights, just tail lights fading into the black. The road beneath feels alive, humming. I swear I see shapes in the mesquite, but when I blink, they're gone. At home, I leave the engine running in the driveway. I grab the shotgun from the closet, check the shells. I place it by the door. I don't sleep. When I finally lie down, the moonlight slants through the blinds. I hear the faucet drip. I roll onto my side and stare at the wall. My phone buzzes on the nightstand. I don't look. I know better. I close my eyes, but the darkness behind my eyelids is noisy. Footsteps on gravel. A door locking. A single footprint. Then nothing. I drift towards sleep, but the silence is alive. It waits. It listens. And I know the missing are out there somewhere, in that silence. And I'm the only one still looking. I leave the door cracked, the screen rattling in the breeze. I sit at the kitchen table, the single bulb overhead. I lean forward, elbows on formica, and spread the timeline printout in front of me again. Red string linking counties, pins shining. My coffee has gone cold. I barely notice. The phone vibrates on the table. A text from the same unlisted number. Tonight. No punctuation, no context. My thumb hovers. I don't reply. I stand and grab my jacket. I pocket the note from Kickapoo Creek and the photograph from CR 115. I take the pink sneaker photo too. I fold them together and tuck them into my chest pocket, over my heart. Then I lift the shotgun from beside the door and step outside. The air is warm. The cicadas drone. The porch light flickers. I close the door and walk to my cruiser. I don't start the engine. I just sit, hands on the wheel, listening to the night. The radio is off, but I hear static behind my eyes. I think of the first truck, Mary Ellen Shaw's Ram. Heat, dust, that single footprint. I think of the sneaker, the boots, the cowboy hat. Each item plucked from everyday life. Each a beacon dropped in the void. At exactly midnight, I type 10-8 in the log and step onto the gravel. I walk to the edge of my property, where the land slopes into open field. The fences are low. The mesquite wait in the dark. I pull out the note. Tonight. I unfold it. I look at the blank page beyond the words. I stare into the darkness. I whisper, "What do you want?" The wind stirs. Leaves rustle. Silence answers. I slip back into the cruiser, start the engine, and drive south on FM 49. I aim for the intersection with CR 115. My headlights cut through the scrub. The road narrows, the fence posts blur. I slow to 5 miles per hour. I want to see every shadow. I reach the cattle guard. The gravel is loose. I step out and leave one boot print. I follow it back across the bars until the fields open around me. The only light is from the cruiser. I shine my tack light into the brush. Nothing. I walk to where the single footprint from the first case vanished. I kneel. I run my fingers through the dirt. It is dry, too dry to hold a print. I sense the weight of every missing person leaning into that spot. I stand. I look north toward the highway, tail lights far off. I imagine Mary Ellen stepping out of the Ram. I imagine Cruz leaving the barn. I imagine the teen on FM 49, each a silhouette swallowed by the night, each sliding into the void. I pull my phone, I open notes and type one word, watching. Then I delete it, then I type, waiting. I delete again, I close the phone. I return to the cruiser and drive on. I take the turn onto County Road 115. The beam of the headlight sweeps across the fence. The ground is churned from cattle. No sign of my boot print or the old footprint. The dirt is smooth. I reach the place where I found the pink sneaker. I stop, I shine my light. Nothing. I step out, the gravel crunches. I find no sneaker, I find nothing. I close my eyes. I hear the sneaker's laces click. I open my eyes. Nothing. I climb back in. I drive south until the road ends at the oil field flare. The flame burns orange against the horizon. It glares like a torch over an empty altar. I park 100 yards off and kill the engine. I sit in darkness. The flare silhouettes the pump jack. It nods, slow, mechanical. A metal sentinel. I watch it move. I listen to the cicadas and the distant hum of generators. Then the radio crackles, barely audible. My name. A whisper. Walker. I don't answer. I know better. I reach for the door. I step out. The ground is cool. I walk toward the flare. The heat washes over me. I stand under it. The pump jack's shadow towers. I glance back at the cruiser. Headlights still off, engine silent. I walk back. I get in and start the engine. I drive away without headlights. Tail lights only. Red pinpricks receding into the night. I head for the river bridge at Kickapoo Creek. I pull over on the bank. The water glints under the moon. I pop the trunk, take out the canine harness. Tracker's harness. But Tracker is retired. I lost him 2 years ago to age. I hang the harness on the fence. I don't need a dog to follow this scent. The scent is in my bones. I return to the cruiser. I call dispatch. Unit 24, I'm off duty. All quiet here, they acknowledge. I kill the engine. I sit. I watch the creek flow. The current is steady. It carries sticks, leaves, the occasional plastic bag. It carries nothing alive. I close my eyes. I hear the water drip under the bridge. I hear breath in the darkness. I hear footsteps on gravel. I open my eyes. The bank is empty. I climb back in. I drive home. The moon dips low. Dawn creeps on the horizon. I park in the driveway. I leave the engine idling. I carry the shotgun inside. I set it by the bed. I take off my boots. My socks have dust from CR 115. I leave them by the door. I roll onto the mattress, fully clothed. The calendar on the wall reads Friday. I stare at the ceiling. I feel the weight of every missing person pressing down. My phone buzzes. I ignore it. The radio beside me crackles once. I don't reach for it. I close my eyes. I see Mary Ellen's face. I see Cruz's hat. I see the pink sneaker. I see the boots under the bridge. I see the empty barn, the locked trucks, the red pins on the map. I wake before first light again. The house is dark. My wife's side of the bed is cold. I don't go back to sleep. I dress in the dark, jeans, boots, t-shirt, jacket. I grab my flashlight, the evidence bag with the pink sneaker photo, and the chest pocket of notes. I leave the door unlocked. The county road outside is empty. I drive south, windows down, engine low. The cicadas have given way to crickets. The air smells of dew and mesquite. I head for the old ranch off FM 1788, the Delgado property. The gate is latched just as I left it. I unlatch it, push through. The barn sits dark. No sound inside. I flash the beam across empty stalls. The feed trough is overturned. The straw is disturbed, but no footprints. I step in. The floor is clean concrete. I crouch by the trough and see the faintest smear of moisture on the floor. Not rust, not blood, an oily sheen. I trace it with my fingertip. It's gone cold. I stand. I sweep the barn with light. Walls, rafters, corners, nothing. I step outside. The sky is paling. I close my eyes and listen. The wind moves through the barn boards like a low sigh. I picture Cruz stepping into the darkness, leaving that hat behind. I picture him walking into the empty night. I drive on, towards CR 115. I pass the flare. The pump jack stands still in the dawn. I park and watch the sky turn pink. I take out the pink sneaker photo. I hold it up to the light. The edges curl. I trace the laces with my thumb. I fold it, put it away. At the cattle guard, I step out. I walk back across the bars, leaving one boot print. I follow the line of fence posts until the scrub thickens. I push through mesquite. The thorns rip my jacket. I emerge into a small clearing. An oil field pipeline runs through here. The ground is stained dark. I kneel and find a footprint in the mud. A woman's size 8, heel broken. Not Mary Ellen's. I bag it mentally, another pin for the map. I return to the cruiser. I drive to Terrell County line. The sign greets me. I flash my badge at the deputy in the shack. He nods, waves me through. No questions. We share the unspoken knowledge. These roads swallow people. I head for the river bridge at Kickapoo Creek. Water is higher now, spring runoff. I park on the bank. I shine my light under the bridge. The boots never reappear. The current runs too strong. I snap a photo of the water. I text it to myself. Timestamp, location. I need the record. I drive home as the sun fully rises. I pull into the driveway, engine still warm. I sit for a moment. Then I climb out, leaving the cruiser running. I grab the shotgun, check the chamber. I carry it inside. At the station, I file the new footprint under unknown. I attach my photo of the creek. I note the pipeline print. I mark the time, 5:47. I sign my name. The file closes back into the drawer. I return to my office. Harris is there, staring at the map. The red strings are tangled. He looks up. "You still at this?" he asks. I nod. He shrugs. "Don't let it kill you." I say nothing. He leaves. I sit alone. I pull out the notes. July 12th, Shaw, Ram CR 115, footprint size 11. September 5th, Soto Silverado FM 316, Radio Whisper October 14, Delgado Barn, FM 1788, Hatmar 3, Boots Underbridge Lake Palestine. May 8, pipeline print CR 115, size 8 woman's heel. I draw another line on the calendar. Another Friday. I go home. The porch light glows. I step inside. My wife sleeps. I don't wake her. I leave the door cracked. I sit at the kitchen table, same as yesterday. I sip cold coffee. I glance at the clock, 18:21, dinner time. I don't care. I open my laptop. I start typing a memo. To whom it may concern, these cases are connected. Here are the facts. I stop. I close it. I know who it concerns, whoever watches. I lean back. I close my eyes. I see the empty roads, the locked trucks, the single prints. I feel the weight of every missing person. I feel the silence pressing in. I whisper, "I'm still here." And the house replies with quiet floors, the hum of the fridge, the soft breathing of my wife. I stand. I grab the shotgun. I walk to the door. I step out into the yard. The sky is darkening. Stars emerge. I train the shotgun on the fence line. I watch the shadows. Nothing moves. I lower the gun. I walk back inside. I lock the door. I place the shotgun by the bed. I slip under the covers. I wake to the taste of dust and motor oil in my mouth. The engine's still idling in the driveway. Dawn leaks through the blinds. I slide out of bed, careful not to wake her. My wife's breathing is soft, steady. I envy it. I grab yesterday's map from the kitchen table, red strings tangled, new footprint pinned. I fold it and tuck it into my jacket. I sling the shotgun over my shoulder and head out. The morning air is cool, heavy with promise. I drive toward the old railroad siding east of town, where a freight train sometimes stops in the night. Trespassers, drifters, the occasional hobo. Maybe someone saw something. The siding is deserted. Rails gleam. Wooden ties splinter. I walk along the track, shining my light under cars. I look for footprints in the ballast. Nothing. No discarded bottles, no scraps of cloth. I step off the ties into the weeds. Tall grass brushes my legs. I find a scrap of leather, a fragment of glove. Hard to date. I bag it mentally. I climb back in the cruiser and head south on CR 115. Again. I drive slow. 10 miles per hour. I watch the fence posts, the scrub. I watch for movement. The horizon glows orange with flare stacks. I pass the cattle guard. I step out, leave a boot print. I follow the line into the brush. I push through mesquite and broken pipe. My jacket snags. I tear it free. A thorn embeds in the sleeve. I pull it out and flick it away. I arrive at the clearing by the pipeline. The ground is stained dark. Oil or water, can't tell. I kneel. I find 2 prints now. The woman's size 8 and a new one, size 9, work boot. I bag both in my mind. I trace the edges. The prints lead toward an old service road that angles west. I follow them. The road ends at a locked gate. Barbed wire tops the fence. A padlock secures the chain. No footprints around it. No sign of entry. The chain is new. I shine my light through the links. On the other side, tire ruts and fresh mud, heading north. I note the direction. I step back. I snap a photo. I drive on. By noon, I'm back at the station. I log the glove fragment, the pipeline prints, the service road photo. I update the timeline. A week between Delgado and Pipeline. I adjust the pattern. Prints sometimes come in pairs. The red string shifts. The pentagon warps. Deputy Harris peeks in. "You ever eating?" he asks. I shake my head. He sighs. "You need a break. Get out of this county for a bit." I look at him. He doesn't understand. Can't, I say. He shrugs. "Suit yourself." He leaves. I sit alone. I open the file on Mary Ellen Shaw again. The earliest case. I read her husband's statement. His voice on the recording cracks. He says he loves her. He says he'll never stop looking. I pause the audio. I lean back. I think of my wife. I think of Mary Ellen's husband waiting at home. I clear my desk. I close the laptop. I grab the timeline and the map. I slip them into a manila folder. I write on the tab, Walker file, open. I lock the drawer. I leave the station. I head south toward the Blanco Ranch Road, where a missing drifter was last seen. The sun is high. Heat simmers on the asphalt. I park under a mesquite. I grab water and my flashlight. I step onto the road. No shoulder. Gravel bites my boots. I walk. I listen. I reach the bend where the drifter's truck was found. Engine cold, doors locked, keys missing. I stand in the center of the road. I close my eyes. I hear my own heartbeat. I feel the heat. I open my eyes. I see tracks, boot imprints in the gravel, leading into the pasture. I follow them. They cross cattle paths, cut under a fence, vanish in tall grass. I crouch by the fence. I see a thread of cloth caught on a barb, olive green canvas. I tug gently. It comes free. I bag it mentally. I climb through the fence. The pasture is empty, mesquite islands and grass. I walk toward a low rise. From its top I see the highway to the west, the ranch house to the east. Nothing else. I sit on the rise. I take out my notebook. I write, April the 22nd, Blanco Road, prints, canvas thread. I draw a quick sketch of the pasture. I note wind direction, sun angle. I close the book. I drive back into town. I stop at the evidence locker. I check out a new evidence bag. I seal the canvas thread, I label it. I place it with the other items. Pink sneaker photo, pipeline prints, glove fragment, cowboy hat, boots photo. I step back, they line the shelf like relics. I leave, I head home. The porch light is on. My wife sits on the steps, coffee in hand. She doesn't ask where I've been, she nods. I sit beside her. We watch cicadas on the fence. She reaches and takes my hand. I don't pull away. She says, "Come inside soon." I nod. I enter the house. I lay the canvas thread on the kitchen table. I step away. I watch it under the bright bulb. I think of the drifter stepping through that fence, leaving behind a scrap of canvas. I think of Mary Ellen stepping out of the ram, leaving one wet print. I return to the living room. I turn on the TV, news chatter, traffic, weather. I mute it. I stare at the screen. Nothing happens. I switch it off. I go to the bedroom. I leave the shotgun by the door. I take off my boots, gravel in the soles. I place them by the bed. I lie down. I close my eyes. I dream of footprints. Single prints, pairs, prints leading to walls, prints leading to empty air. I dream of a room with no doors. I dream of missing files stacking sky high. I dream of the sheriff's cruiser, headlights off, engine humming, waiting. I wake with a start. The room is dark. The clock reads 2:13. The radio beside the bed crackles. Walker. I sit up. My heart hammers. I reach, but hesitate. The static swells, then fades. I lie back. I stare at the ceiling. Silence. I wait on the porch until the scrape fades. Then I go inside, leave the door ajar. I step into the kitchen and flick on the overhead light. The evidence bag with the canvas thread sits under the bulb, edges illuminated. I pick it up, feel the crinkle of plastic. I press it to my chest. My heart slows. I clear the table. I wash down a whiskey, neat, and set the glass aside. I move the bag into my office. The room is lined with case files, maps, pictures. I place the canvas thread next to the pipeline prints and the pink sneaker photo. I study them together. Each is a breadcrumb on a trail that circles back to CR 115. I sit at the desk. I open the Walker file. Open. I review every note. Dates, locations, details. I cross-reference weather reports, radio logs, witness statements. I annotate, no cell pings after disappearance, no CCTV, no witnesses beyond initial discovery. I underline silence in red. I lean back, my eyes burn. I think of Tracker, the K9, gone now. I think of the Deputy Santos, too shaken to return to the bridge. I think of Mrs. Delgado, Cruz's hat in her hands, tears in her eyes. I think of the missing professors in Arizona, decades ago, Sheriff Merritt's story. I think of him, watching from his porch, shotgun by the bed, silence as loud as a scream. I flip open my notebook. On the next blank page, I write, Plan 1, stake CR 115 at midnight, observe. 2, check pipeline clearing at dawn, photograph new prints. 3rd, interview local landowner on Blanco Road, ask about activity. 4th, review dispatch logs for unlogged radio traffic. 5, cross-check similar cases statewide. I close the book. I feel the weight of it. I feel the pull of the road. At 2350, I drive out again. I bring a second cruiser, borrowed, unmarked. I seat 2 deputies I trust in the back, Harris and Martinez. I brief them quietly, watch for movement, record everything. No engagement unless necessary. They nod, tense. We sit with engines off, headlights low, just south of the cattle guard on County Road 115. The only light is the moon and the distant flare. The air is still, the cicadas gone, the night holds its breath. At precisely midnight, Harris whispers, "Nothing yet." I shine my tack light across the gravel. No footprints. I step out, leave one boot print. I follow the line into the brush. Martinez raises the camera on a tripod, records my path. The beam cuts through mesquite. I find nothing new. We return to the cruiser. I review the footage on the dash screen, frame by frame. Nothing. Then static. A flash of white at the edge of the beam. Something moved. I freeze the frame. It's gone in the next. I zoom in, just a smear. Could be dust, could be something else. I pause the video. I point. Harris leans in. Probably a bug. Martinez nods. I want to believe them. We drive to the pipeline clearing by first light. The sun is low, orange. I step out. I find 3 prints now, size 8 woman's heel, size 9 work boot, and a new, size 10 athletic sneaker. I bag photo evidence. Harris collects plaster casts. Martinez marks GPS. The prints lead toward the locked service gate, same as before. The padlock is replaced. Chain looks undisturbed. I radio it in. 3 prints. Trail to locked gate. No entry prints. Copy? Dispatch confirms. I note time, 6:12. We follow the service road north. Tire ruts in mud, still fresh. We drive the cruiser through the gate, force unlocked, then relock it. We follow the ruts 3 miles to a helicopter pad carved into the mesquite. Concrete circle, windsock tattered, no helipad markings. Grass grown through cracks. I kneel, 3 boot prints in concrete. I bag impressions. No helicopter, no vehicles, no people. Just silence and prints. I stand. The deputies shiver. "Let's move out," I say. We leave the gate locked. We drive back to the station. In my office, I log the prints. I update the map. New red string from pipeline to helipad. The pentagon shifts into a hexagon. The center darkens. I close the station. I drive home. The porch light greets me. I enter. My wife sleeps. I leave the bag with helipad prints on the kitchen table. I step into the living room. The chair faces the window. I sit. I watch the road through the glass. I think someone flew in here. Someone ground landed in the dark. Someone moved the missing without leaving tracks I can follow. I reach for the radio. I key mic. "Dispatch, this is Walker. Any sign of aircraft traffic in Van Zandt between 200 and 600 hours. Silence. Then, negative, Unit 24. No flight plans, no radar hits. I swallow. I switch off the radio. I lie in bed, shotgun by the door, boots by the side. I close my eyes. I imagine the helicopter descending in the dark. A whoomp of rotors, a skid landing on concrete, a ramp lowering, figures stepping out, figures stepping in, taking the missing. I dream of rotors and footprints. I dream of a door in the canyon wall. I dream of the lab. I dream of rifles and masks. I dream of national security and necessary sacrifices. I wake before dawn. The sunrise bleeds pink. I sit on the porch with coffee. I hold the helipad print bag. I think they're organized. They plan, they watch, they choose. I fold the bag into my jacket. I drive north to Terrell County, one more stop. I park by the river bridge. I wade in. No boots, no prints. Water runs clear. I fish out a stick. I toss it downstream. I drive on. The road curves. The fence posts lean. The mesquite waits. I pull over. I step out. I leave one boot print. I turn and walk away, down the road into the scrub. I walk until the sky darkens. I stop. I look back. The cruiser's lights are off. The road is empty behind me. Only one set of prints, mine, leading away. I wake to the soft tick of the kitchen clock. 4:15 a.m. The house is silent. I've left the porch light on for weeks. It hums against the dark. I rise and pad across the living room. The shotgun lies by the door. I grip its stock. The metal is cold. I step outside. The air is damp. Crickets drone. The world feels paused. I walk down the porch steps, boots on wood. I feel the grain under my soles. I breathe in the night. My eyes scan the fence line. No movement. No footprints beyond my own. I drive to CR 1151 last time. The cruiser's headlights carve a path through scrub. The gravel road gleams wet from last night's storm. The mesquite drip. I slow to 5 miles per hour. I watch for prints. The road is smooth. My tire tracks shine behind me. At the cattle guard, I park. I step out. The bars clink under my weight. I leave a print on the gravel. I follow the fence into the brush. The ground is soft. I find no new prints, only mine. I shine the beam across the scrub. Dew glitters on spider webs. Every drop holds the moon. I stop at the clearing by the pipeline. The concrete helipad is empty. No prints, no footprints on the oil-stained ground. The windsock hangs limp. I hold my breath. The world is still. I feel the weight of every missing person bearing down here. I close my eyes. I see Mary Ellen's ram, Cruz's hat, the pink sneaker, the boots under the bridge, the canvas thread, the glove fragment, the pipeline prints, the helipad prints. They swirl in my mind. I open my eyes. The clearing is empty. I kneel and press my palm to the concrete. Cool, solid. I leave a palm print. I stand. I drive on. I head for the river bridge at Kickapoo Creek. The water runs low. Moonlight shimmers on ripples. I park on the bank. I step into the water. It laps at my boots. Cold. I wade under the bridge. I run my hand along the concrete pier. Smooth. No boots. No prints. The river carries all away. I climb out. The bank is muddy. I find a single size 11 boot print, my own, leading back to the cruiser. I shake my head. I step into the driver's seat. I drive home with no headlights. I pull into the driveway. Engine idles. I leave it running. I step onto the porch. The door is closed. I didn't lock it last night. I put my hand on the knob. It's cold. I push inside. The living room is dark. The TV standby light glows red. I flick it on. Weather, traffic. A human interest story about a lost dog found on a highway. I mute it. I stare at the silent screen. I go to the kitchen. The table is bare. No evidence bags, no notes, no map. I blink. They were here minutes ago. Now nothing. The table is empty. I back away. My heart hammers. I step into the hallway. My office door stands ajar. I push it open. The filing cabinet lies open. The Walker file. Open folder is gone. The map, the timeline, the print casts, the photos, they've vanished. I step inside, flood the room with light. Empty hangers on the evidence shelf. The desk drawers pulled out, emptied. My notebook gone. My laptop gone, the walls bare. I lean against the desk. I slide down until I sit on the floor. I pull my jacket closer. My chest tightens. I close my eyes. They came for the evidence. They took every trace. They erased every lead. They left one thing behind, my boot print on the concrete, my palm on the riverbank, my silent cruiser in the driveway. I rise. I step outside. The porch light glares. I look back at the dark house. No movement, no sound. I walk to the cruiser. I climb in. I kill the engine. I sit in the dark. I key the mic. Dispatch, Unit 24. My voice is low, static, no response. I key again. Silence. I slip out of the cruiser. I step onto the gravel. I leave 2 boot prints leading away. I close the door. I walk into the night. I head toward County Road 115. The road stretches before me. No lights, no sound but my boots on gravel. I stop at the spot where the ram sat. I kneel and brush dust away. Nothing but gravel. I press my palm into the dirt. I stand. I walk south into the scrub, the mesquite loom. The night swallows me. My flashlight clicks off. I keep walking by feel. The wind carries crickets and dew. I feel the ground slope. I don't look back. I don't call out. I walk until the horizon blurs. I step through the fence. The cattle guard clinks under my weight. I leave a final boot print behind. I stop at the pipeline clearing. The helipad is dark. No evidence, no prints. I step onto the concrete. I leave one more palm print. I take a deep breath. I don't know how long I walk. The scrub swallows the road. The gravel becomes dust. My flashlight beam narrows. My boots scuff the earth. I feel the weight of every missing person in each step. The night presses in. At some point, the road ends. I didn't notice. The fence disappears. Mesquite give way to open field. The horizon glows faintly, a promise of dawn. I pause. I breathe. Each inhale tastes of dust and regret. I reach into my jacket. The pad of notes is gone. The photo of the sneaker, the canvas thread, the glove fragment, all gone. Only the memory remains. My mind holds the evidence now. Each detail burned behind my eyes. I kneel. I press both palms into the dirt. I trace the shape of footprints I once found. I draw the outline of the pink sneaker. I feel the imprint of the wet footprint by the ram. I recall the boots under the bridge. I conjure the helipad prints in my mind. I close my eyes. I whisper every name. Mary Ellen Shaw, Daniel Soto, Cruz Delgado, Jane Doe under the bridge, the drifter on Blanco Road, the professors in Hidden Valley. I speak until the names blur. I open my eyes. The field is empty. The wind stirs the grass. I stand. I reach into my boot and pull out the single item I carry, the sheriff's badge clipped inside my jacket. I hold it between thumb and forefinger. The metal is worn. The engraving reads Van Zandt County. I press it to my heart. I think of my wife sleeping at home. I think of the cases still open. I think of the silence that follows the missing. I slip the badge into the dirt. It sinks into the soil. I cover it with my palm. I step back. I look down the road toward the rising light. I feel hollow. The road has taken everything, even the evidence, the files, the tools of the trade. All that remains is the badge in the earth and the echo of my promise. I turn and walk away. My boots leave prints in the dust. I pass the place where the fence once stood. I cross the cattle guard. I climb into the cruiser parked without headlights. I close the door. I sit in the dark, the engine off, the world quiet. I place my hand on the steering wheel. My fingers find the steering column pad, my palm print from last night. I brush it gently. It smudges. I press again. I leave a deeper print. I breathe. I reach for the mic. I key it once. Dispatch. My voice trembles. No response. Static whispers. I let it fade. I kill the radio. I start the engine. I drive north, away from CR 115, away from the flare, away from the empty field. The sky brightens. Hints of pink bleed at the horizon. I pass the turn onto FM 49. I don't slow. I pass the bridge at Kickapoo Creek. No boots, no prints. The water runs clear. I keep driving. I head for home. The miles tick by. The sun rises. The world wakes. I pull into the driveway. The porch light is off. The house is dark. I step out. The engine hums. I kill it. I stand in the driveway. I look at the house. No sign of movement. I step onto the porch. The door is locked. I unlock it. I enter. My wife sleeps. I don't wake her. I slip out of my jacket. I find the spot on the floor where my boots usually rest. I place them neatly. I remove my hat and hang it. I fold my shirt. I lay it on the chair. I step into the bedroom. I leave the shotgun by the door. I climb into bed. I curl toward the center. The sheets cool against my skin. I stare at the ceiling. Light seeps through the blinds. The calendar on the wall shows today's date circled in red. I trace it with my eye. No notes, no reminders. Just the circle. I close my eyes. I feel the emptiness settle in my bones. The silence is loud. I feel the absence of answers. I feel the weight of all the missing. I whisper into the dark. I will not forget. And for a moment, I believed the silence might answer. But there is only the beat of my heart, the slow rise and fall of my breath, and the quiet that remains unresolved, like case files stacked on a desk somewhere, waiting for someone to open them. I drift toward sleep. The darkness behind my eyelids is filled with footprints leading nowhere, with empty trucks and locked doors, with flights of rotors and hidden labs, with the echo of names whispered into the void. And when I finally exhale, it is not a scream. It is a quiet, hollow sound that lingers in the space between heartbeats. A promise and a question, unanswered, sinking into the silence. I pull onto the oil field road under a crackling sodium lamp. The wind is dry. It rattles the underside of my patrol truck like distant bones. I kill the engine. The idling hum dies. Silence hangs between the pump jacks, broken only by the soft click of my door latch. My voice on the radio, Echo 52, 10-7 on scene. Grid expansion advised. I hear my own words echo back through static. I pause. Wait. Nothing. That's how it always starts. The ranch hand's truck sits 50 yards ahead, headlights still on, casting long shadows across the mesquite. Doors locked, engine warm, keys in the ignition. I step out, boots crunching gravel. My breath puffs in short bursts. I set my flashlight on the hood. The beam cuts a pale arc into the dark. No footprints lead away. Just tire tracks vanishing into the barrel of night. I tap the mic again. Base, this is Echo 52. Any sign of him? Silence. I scroll channels. Static. Then the faint hiss of the wind through scrub. That sound catches in my chest, the world breathing around an absence. I kneel and run gloved fingers through the gravel. No prints. Nothing but the truck's own path. I stand. The cage of the radio crackles. A voice. Copy that. K9 team en route. I acknowledge. I move off the road into the brush, flashlight angled low. Every branch looks like a broken bone, every shadow a vanished shape. I inhale the dry dust, taste metal at the back of my throat. My pulse shifts. I've been here before. 20 minutes later, the dogs arrive. Handler's name is Ruiz. He breathes into his collar mic. Dog's on point. A German shepherd steps forward, nose to ground. It moves toward the cattle guard, sniffs the empty air, then stops. Head tilts. The dog's ears prickle. It takes one step forward, then retreats. Handler pats its flank. Nothing, no scent. He shrugs. Must have drifted off. We sweep the fence line. I mark each gate, open, closed, locked. All normal, yet wrong. I feel it in the hush between each breath. We find a discarded water bottle, no label, half full, stuck in mud by the riverbank. I bag it as evidence. The dog wags its tail, unconcerned. I envy that. By 4 a.m., search deputies fan out across 8 square miles. Headlights bob over oil field roads. We call grid expansions. Someone radios in, heat signature false alarm, just cattle. Another, found an empty tent. I listen to the chatter. The department map glows on the laptop screen. Red pins mark no sign. Blue pins mark cattle. The missing man's name sits at the top. Joshua Miller, age 33. Code 8, missing adult. I shut the laptop, push back from the desk. The station is empty. Clock reads 4:47. I drive back out alone. Cab light off, only headlights. I follow Joshua's tire tracks into the black. At the cattle guard, I stop again. The truck is gone, not Joshua's, mine. I left my truck here, now it's vanished. I kill the engine. Silence. I step into the fence gap. Walk the guard. The ground is firm. I squat by the barbed wire, no footprints. Nothing but dust and the smell of oil. I lean forward and whisper, "Where did you go?" The answer comes in the wind, a dry sigh through the mesquite. I stand, radio crackles. Deputy Marquez, Echo 52, you copy? Backup's here. I click mic. Copy, out here alone. I wait, hear her headlights crest the hill. When she arrives, she kills her engine. We exchange nods. No words. We retrace steps. Nothing new. Back at the station, I track calls. The mother phoned at 6 a.m. She left a voicemail. "Any news on Joshua? Please, just tell me something." I listen. Her voice trembles. I press eject. I don't call back. Not yet. I drive home at dawn. The sky bleeds pale. I park in my driveway. Porch light still on. My wife forgets sometimes. I kill it. Step inside. The house is cold. I shrug off my jacket. The radio in my pocket buzzes with an unread alert. New tip. Abandoned well site 12 miles south. I ignore it. I toss keys on the counter. Boots by the door. My wife stirs in the bedroom. I lie down. My mind races along oil-field roads, following footprints that end in nothing. I sleep 2 hours. Dream of headlights veering off Route 12. A porch light glowing in a house with no one home. A radio crackling then dying. I wake at 10 o'clock. The tip still waits. I stare at the ceiling. My fingers twitch. I reach for the radio, hold it in my palm. The static hums. I breathe. Then I set it down. I haven't called the mother back. I won't until I have something real. Until I find something. Because every time I speak, I break the silence. And silence is all Joshua left behind. The abandoned well site sits off County Road 231, half swallowed by mesquite and tumbleweed. Headlight beams catch the rusted rim of the casing. No roof, no pump, just a yawning black cylinder. My radio crackles. K9 negative, metal detector clear. I nod at my partner, Deputy Marquez, though she can't see me in the dark. She's running the scanner. I'm watching the shadows. I kill the truck's engine. The world goes silent. Even the coyotes pause. I step to the well's edge, flashlight in hand. The beam drops into the shaft, pitch black. I shine downward, but the light vanishes within 10 feet. No ladder, nothing, just emptiness. I feel the hairs on my neck lift. Echo 52, I say into the mic. Looks undisturbed, no sign of Joshua. Copy, Marquez replies. We combed the perimeter. No footprints. I crouch by the rim, peer over. The concrete lip is clean. No scuff marks, no drag lines. If someone fell in, there'd be debris. Rocks, dirt, broken branches. But this is pristine, as if the well swallowed him whole and wiped the rim clean behind it. I stand. The wind stirs dust at my boots. I sweep the brush with my light, nothing but the shape of mesquite and the long bones of dead grass. I step back, heart ticking. I reach into my coat and pull out the half-buried water bottle we bagged earlier. The label's gone, peeled away by mud. I twist the cap, dry. I drop it back into evidence bag. The click of the zipper sounds loud. Marquez steps up. What are you thinking? I shake my head. Nothing fits. She watches me, quiet, then, check the radio again. I raise the handset, scan channels, static, then, barely, a whisper behind the hiss, like someone breathing into the mic. I freeze. Did you hear that? She nods. Replay? I play the last 30 seconds. The static bulges, and for a fraction of a second I swear I hear, "Don't come," then nothing. Just wind. I rewind. Listen again, it's gone. The waveform is flat. No voice, no breach in the noise. My fingers tremble on the handset. Must be interference, I say, but my voice sounds small. We leave the well. Back in the truck, I log the find. Well, site negative. Audio anomaly unconfirmed. I don't note the tremor in my hands. I drive back toward Van Zandt, headlights on low beam. The scanner sits between us, silent now. At the station, I replay the recording on my laptop. I boost gain, run noise reduction filters, loop the clip. Nothing. The file is clean static, no whisper. I lean back, stare at the ceiling. I think of Joshua's mother listening for a word. I close the laptop. I head to the locker room. Swap my uniform shirt for civilian clothes. I need to look normal for the press conference. At noon, the sheriff holds court. Search continues. We remain hopeful. Flashbulbs pop. I stand behind him, nod politely. I catch the mother's eye in the crowd, red-rimmed, hollow. She mouths, "Anything?" I shake my head. She turns away. Afterward, I return to my truck. The scanner crackles to life on its own. Echo 52, Echo 52, is anyone there? The voice is distant, distorted. I slam the lid. Damn ghost channel, I mutter. Marquez glances at me. You okay? I nod, but my stomach knots. I drive home. On the dash, the scanner lies silent. My phone buzzes. Voicemail from dispatch. New tip. Someone saw a figure at the old Turner Ranch, 3 a.m. I delete it. I don't want to know. I pull into my driveway. The porch light flickers. I kill the scanner. I step inside. My daughter's music drifts from her room. I pause, hand on the door. I picture Joshua's mother waiting by her phone. I think of the well's black mouth. I think of the voice that wasn't there. I flip the light switch and the house snaps bright. Normal, but I can't shake the quiet. I set the scanner on the kitchen table. It hums softly, even turned off. I drop my keys. The hum lingers. I lie on the couch, pull a blanket over me. I stare at the scanner. The house breathes around me. Silence stretched thin. I close my eyes. In the back of my mind, I hear that half-heard whisper, "Don't come," and then nothing. I sleep fitfully. Dream of Joshua standing at the well's edge, legs dangling over emptiness. He turns, looks at me, eyes empty, and steps backward into the black. I wake, heart pounding, at 2:47 a.m. The scanner lights up. I bolt upright. It displays static, then scrolls one line of text. "Seal it." The letters fade. I grab the scanner. It goes dark. I sit in the dark. Quiet stretches. I whisper into the hush, "What do you want me to seal?" No answer, just the dry wind rattling the house. I wake before dawn, heart still hammering from the scanner's message. "Seal it." The words aren't mine, but they echo in my skull. I sit on the edge of the couch, legs heavy, hands wrapped around the scanner like it's a lifeline. The display is blank. The kitchen clock glares 3:12 a.m. I should call dispatch, log the event, but I don't. I power down the unit, tuck it beneath the couch. Whatever I'm chasing, it isn't standard procedure. I throw on boots and grab my coat. No radio, no backup. I drive toward the Turner Ranch tip, 3 miles east of town, along a washboard road that rattles the truck's frame. The dash light flickers. Wind gusts batter the cab. I kill the lights. The night goes black. Only the moon glints off fence wires. I step out. The air is cold for April. 46 degrees, but the wind feels colder, cuts through denim and flesh. The Turner place sits behind a sagging gate. The sign reads, "Private Property," in peeling white paint. I squeeze through the gate hinge, disturb a scatter of gravel. Footprints lead toward the corral, then vanish in soft dirt. No hoof prints, no boot prints past that point. I sweep the area with my flashlight. Horse trough half full, water still, no horses, no animals. I call into the dark, Van Sant Sheriff's Office. Anyone out here? My voice sounds small. The beam settles on the barn. Boards, weather gray, doors ajar. I creep forward. My hand hovers over my weapon, but I don't draw. I'm not expecting a human. I'm expecting absence. Inside the barn, the beam picks out hay bales stacked 6 feet high. A pitchfork leans against a post. I step between bales. The air is musty, sweet with decay. I sweep left. Nothing. I sweep right. My flashlight grazes a white shape on the floor. A folded shirt, children's size, clean. It shouldn't be here. I kneel, heart thudding. The shirt bears a small stain, rust or blood. I can't tell in the low light. I bag it mentally as evidence. My radio crackles, Marquez's voice. Echo 52, status? I hesitate, then, at Turner Ranch, shirt found, no other sign. Copy that. Deputies en route. I step back. The shirt lies alone, no footprints to it, no prints away. I stare at it, expecting movement. It stays still. I move deeper. The barn floor slopes toward a trapdoor embedded in concrete. I didn't know it was here. The lid is warped, edges splintered, rusted hinges. I press down. It creaks. I step back. My flashlight trembles. Something about that door feels wrong. I radio in. Echo 52, found trapdoor in barn, appears recently disturbed. Requesting engineer for structural assessment. Marquez. Copy. ETA 10 minutes. I crouch by the door. Roots snake through cracks in the concrete. The gap beneath the lid reveals blackness. I lean in. The smell hits me. Damp earth, mildew, something metallic, copper and rust. My stomach twists. I want to climb down. I want to run. I press my palm to the lid. It's warm. Unexpectedly warm, as if heat seeps from below. Marquez? You seeing this? I whisper. She steps up. I point. She nods, breath shallow. We share that look. Law enforcement training telling us not to enter alone. Human instinct telling us we've already crossed the line. We back away. I radio dispatch. Echo 52, structure unstable. Do not enter. Need concrete seal. Silence. Then, understood. Seal it. I close the lid. The barn feels smaller. I run my hand along the wood. Rough, splintered. I shine my light at the ceiling. Gulls of darkness. The silence presses in. I step outside. In the pale moonlight, the Turner house sits 50 yards away. Porch light on, no car in the drive. I walk the path. Porch steps creak underfoot. I pause at the door, push it open. The hall light flickers. Wallpaper peeling. Family photos on a side table. A little girl in a sundress. A boy on a dirt bike. A man and woman smiling. The girl's face is circled in red pen on the glass, drawn recently. I trace the circle with my fingertip. Cold. I lift the frame. The photo backing is damp. I set it down. The hallway leads to an open living room. Couch cushions askew. Coffee table overturned. A child's doll lies face down in the carpet. No children, no family. I sweep the room, no footprints. My boots leave imprints in the dust. I follow them to the kitchen. Cabinets open, plates empty. A kettle on the stove, water cold. Refrigerator door ajar. Inside, a half-eaten sandwich, 2 glasses, one with lipstick stain. I bag the glasses in my mind. I step to the sink. Water drips from the tap. Slow, steady. I turn it off. The last drop rings in the silence. In the dining room, a single chair pulled out. A notebook on the floor. I pick it up. Child's handwriting. They watch from below. Don't let them out. Pages torn. The last entry reads, "Mommy says the hole is hungry." I swallow hard. The words hang in the stale air. My radio crackles. Echo 52, engineer on site. They'll seal the barn within the hour. I glance at the notebook, the circle on the photo, the shirt in the barn, the trap door. The drill of procedure wars with the thrum of dread in my veins. I close the notebook. I leave it on the dining table. I step outside. The wind stirs tumbleweed across the yard. I glance back. The porch light flickers. The house looks empty, abandoned. But the circle remains on the window, a silent witness. I walk to my truck. Marquez is waiting by the barn. She nods. I nod back. We drive off. Behind us, the barn's trapdoor lies sealed once more, concrete poured, lid covered. The ground still steams faintly. I log the incident. Turner Ranch. Evidence collected, shirt, notebook, photo. Trapdoor sealed per order. I omit my suspicion. I omit the taste of copper in my mouth. I omit the quiet promise in that child's scrawl. I pull onto the highway. The sky lightens. Dawn bleeds pink across the horizon. I think of the missing ranch hand, Joshua Miller, lost in April's darkness. I think of the child who wrote of hunger below. I think of the well site, the empty brush, the whisper on the scanner. I park at the station. I step inside. The dispatcher looks up. Anything? I shake my head. Working leads. She nods. I pass her. In the locker room, I drop the notebook into evidence. The shirt into the locker. I flip the light off. In the break room, I boil water for coffee. The pot gurgles. I watch the drip. I think of the drips in the Turner kitchen. The drips in the cave beneath Halverson. The slow drip of time consuming every case file. I pour my coffee, black. I return to my desk, files stacked. Miller, Turner child, the old Halverson case. I open the Miller file, photo of Joshua's mother, eyes bright with hope. I close it. I open the Turner file. Photo of the little girl, red-circled face. I close it. I open the Halverson file, the badge, the recorder, the sealed cave. I close it. I sit back. Silence in the station. The scanner on my desk hums softly, even off. I lean forward, whisper to the empty room. What now? No answer but the drip of the coffee pot and the soft turning of case file pages. I don't remember driving back to the Turner Ranch seal site later that afternoon, but I found myself standing at the edge of the concrete patch as dusk settled. The county had dropped enough cement to bury that trapdoor for good. The surface was smooth, still wet in places, reflecting the last glow of sunset. I knelt, traced a finger through the grit, left a shallow groove. It felt like crossing a line. My radio lay on the truck's passenger seat, silent. I grabbed it, clicked the power. Static hissed, then the faintest pulse, like a heartbeat. I keyed the mic, Echo 52 checking in. Nothing. The hissing swallowed my words. I turned it off. I stepped back. The wind kicked up dust devils across the yard, the barn's silhouette dark against the sky. No movement, no sound. I closed my eyes, felt the heat of the concrete through my jeans, the memory of that child's shirt, folded, waiting under splintered boards, the notebook's final line. Mommy says the hole is hungry. I opened my eyes. The barn looked empty. I walked away. Night shift began at 10 o'clock. The station was quiet. I brewed coffee, black, 2 sugars. I settled into the briefing room as Deputy Marquez laid out the overnight calls. Petty theft at a convenience store, a domestic disturbance cleared without arrest, and a possible prowler scare at a mobile home park. False alarm. No missing persons leads. I nodded along. My mind drifted back to the Turner seal. I glanced at Marquez. Her eyes were rimmed with fatigue. She caught my look and gave a half shrug. We both carried the same weight. At 11:15, dispatch paged me. New, 10-8, possible sighting of Miller near Sand Creek Bridge, southbound. My pulse spiked. I grabbed my coat. Marquez followed. We drove out in tandem. The road stretched narrow between fields of scrub. Moon low. Headlights off, so our approach wouldn't spook anyone. At the bridge, 2 locals stood by their pickup. Flashlights trained on the creek. One was a teenage boy, one an older man, perhaps his father. They waved us down. "I saw him," the boy said, voice trembling. "Saw a man walking on the bridge. Looked like he was limping." I stepped forward. "Was it Joshua Miller?" The man swallowed. "Don't know the name, just a guy, pale face." He stared at me, then dropped into the water below. I swept my light across the concrete span. No one there. The water shone black. No ripple, no body. "Describe him," I said. The boy shook. "Tall, thin, coat hanging open. He just walked off the edge like he knew it was there." I crouched by the railing, looked over. The creek roared low beneath us. Dry banks, scattered rocks. If someone fell, they'd be bruised, broken. No splash, no sound. I radioed dispatch. "Echo 52, negative on Miller. Subject not found in creek. Recommend sonar sweep." They copied. I stood. The locals had retreated to their truck. I shone my light downstream. Silence. I thought of the well, the barn, the cave in Halverson, places that opened into darkness and took what they wanted. I turned back. The boy stared at the railing. "He was gone when I looked again," the boy whispered. I nodded. "Thank you." We left them trembling beneath the bridge. Back in the truck, Marquez switched on the scanner. The static was gone. The unit silent. I tapped the side. "You think it heard me?" She shook her head. "Don't know. Let's just run the sonar team in the morning." I didn't answer. Stared at the bridge receding in the headlights. At 2:30 a.m., the sonar team arrived. I walked them through the call. They deployed the equipment from a small inflatable boat. I watched the screen in the back of their truck. A grainy echo sound image of the creek bed. Rocks, debris, nothing out of place. No sign of a body, no anomaly. One tech frowned. "This creek's shallow. If he fell, we'd see something." I nodded. "Or he never fell." They exchanged glances. I stepped away. The night grew colder. I jammed hands in pockets. I thought of the Turner Barn's concrete seal, of the well site's emptiness, of a ranch hand lost to dry wind. I thought of that child's warning. The hole is hungry. My phone buzzed, Mother's call. I ignored it. I logged out at 4 a.m., the station empty again. I grabbed the scanner and the sonar team's report. I slid into my truck. The scanner powered on, static, then a single phrase. "You're late." I jerked. The radio dropped to silence. I flipped switches. Dead. I pressed my palm to the dash. Heat from my skin. I drove toward home with the scanner in my lap. The road stretched endless. No other cars. The scanner whispered my name in static. "Echo 52? Echo 52. I pulled over, moonlight on the hood. I stepped out, scanner in hand. I pointed it at the sky. "What do you want?" I yelled. Silence. Then the wind picked up, scattering leaves. I heard a faint drip, water echoing in the night. I followed the sound to a culvert beneath the road. Water trickled. I knelt. The scanner buzzed. I shone my light in. Blackness. I dropped the scanner. It clattered in the dirt, still humming. I backed away. The drip continued. I drove home without the scanner. At home, my wife was gone. The porch light off. I stepped inside, the house dark. I flicked through rooms, empty. I checked my phone, no messages. I sank onto the couch. I thought of the culvert strip, the Turner trapdoor, the well, the cave, the bridge, all openings, all hungry. I closed my eyes, tried to sleep. In the hush, I heard it, a slow scrape from beneath the floorboards. I sat bolt upright, heart hammering. I grabbed my flashlight, shone at the living room floor. Nothing. The boards looked normal. I knelt, ran a hand along the seam. It was slightly raised. I pressed. The floor shifted, barely. I stood. Adrenaline. I grabbed a chair, pried at the seam. A section lifted, revealing darkness. A narrow crawl space. I shone my light inside. Dirt floor, roots, the faint glint of something metallic. I pressed my ear to the opening. Silence. Then a soft click, like a latch. The darkness beyond seemed to exhale. I stepped back. My hands shook. I closed the panel, hammered it with the chair, locked it in place. I backed away, whispered, "Not here." I climbed into bed, pulled covers tight. The house sighed around me. Silence returned, thick, waiting. I didn't sleep. At 5:47, I rose, made coffee. The scanner lay on the porch, gone. I stepped outside, grass undisturbed, no sign it had been there. I poured coffee, black, bitter. I stared at the yard, the sealed barn in my rear view, the hidden trapdoor beneath my floor, the hungry hole. I know what's coming, and it's waiting. My shift starts at 10 a.m., but I've been awake since before dawn. The house feels wrong, like the floor's secret breathing just beneath my boots. I dress in uniform, no radio, no scanner. I leave both at the station. I need to think without static whispers. At 10:05, I'm in the briefing room. Sheriff Daniels looks up from the daily blotter. "Anything overnight?" I shake my head. "Routine calls only." He nods. "Keep me posted on the Miller sonar." I mutter, "Will do." I catch Marquez's eye. She raises hers. Concern, or is it warning? By 11, I'm back on Joshua Miller's file. I flip through photos, the empty truck, the water bottle, the well. I trace each image with my fingertip. The edges are crisp, the emptiness within them is not. Dispatch pages me. New tip. Possible sighting of child from Turner Ranch in van. I grab my coat. Marquez joins me without asking. We drive to the address, a trailer park 5 miles north. Neon sign flickers. Willow Creek Estates. We knock on a door. A teenage girl answers, pale, wide-eyed. She clutches a stuffed rabbit. I show badge. "We're looking into a missing child from Turner Ranch. Have you seen her?" She shakes. I thought it was a dream. I saw her in my backyard last night." I step inside. She leads me to a sliding glass door. "Backyard overgrown," she points. She stood right there by the fence. I scan the yard. No footprints, no sign, just grass and moonlight. The girl whispers. She looked at me. Didn't speak, just stared. Then she walked through the fence. I look through chain link. Nothing but dark field beyond. I turn back. The girl is gone, vanished into the trailer. Marquez stands beside me. "No one here but you and me." I nod. "Let's go." We return to the station. I log the sighting. I don't mention the girl's rabbit or the stain on her sleeve, rust-colored like the barn shirt. At 1 p.m., the sonar report arrives negative. No Miller in the creek. The file gains another no sign stamp. I close it. I drive out to the Halverson property next. The county fence surrounds the lot. A warning sign, restricted. Hazard. I slip through a gap I found last year. The ground still heaves faintly, those 28-day tremors they recorded. I stand above the buried cave. Concrete scar dull in the sun. I kneel, press my palm. The ground hums beneath my hand. I pull back, heart kicking. I dig in my pocket. The child's notebook from Turner. Last page folded. A pressed flower inside. I unfold the girl's handwriting. They bloom in the dark. Don't let them out. A dried petal flutters away in the breeze. I drop the notebook. It lands on the concrete. I step on it. The petal crushes. Dust blows into the gap. I cover my mouth. The wind carries a faint creak. Wood against wood. I spin. Nothing. I leave. At 5 p.m., I return to the station. Daniels asks, "Status?" "Nothing new." I lie. He nods. I watch him walk away. The weight of open cases hangs between us. I head to my desk. The scanner sits there, powered on, a static flickering across the display. I never brought it back from home. I click it off. The static cuts. I click on. Static returns. I drop it. It hums. I leave for patrol at 6. The county roads stretch empty. I pass the Turner barn in my headlights, sealed concrete glowing pale. I slow. The beam catches a crack in the surface. A thin line, hairline fracture. I kill the lights, move closer. The crack widens slightly, impossibly, like something pressing from below. I step back. The crack snaps shut. I kill the engine. Silence. I drive on. At 8 p.m., a call. Disturbance at a hog farm outside Terrell. I roll in alone. The farmer, shaking, says he heard children laughing in the pens, but no children live there. I shine my light into the sty. Pigs grunt, no laughter. I step onto the mud. Footprints, small, barefoot, leading between the stalls, then ending. I bag the print in my mind. I walk the perimeter. Nothing. I leave, uneasy. I drive home at 10. The road is empty. I pass the old well site. The flashlight bottle is gone. In its place, a single boot, mud-caked, child's size. I stop, park, step out. The boot lies on the gravel. No owner. I pick it up. Mud falls away, revealing a name scrawled inside. Maggie. My heart stops. I drop the boot. It hits the ground with a hollow thud. I pick it again. The name glares at me. Maggie, the Turner girl. I clutch the boot, drive the rest of the way home without headlights. I burst inside. My wife startles. "What is it?" I hold up the boot. She pales. Where did you get that?" I shake. "On County Road 7, by the well." She steps back. "Call the sheriff." I nod. I dial Daniels. Voice cracks. "Sheriff, it's Hastings. We have a boot, a child's boot." He says, "Stay there." I'm on my way. I hang up. The boot lies on the kitchen floor. I stare at it. The house breathes, silence thick as concrete. I think they're closing in. The hungry hole, the cave, the crack, the boot, they're all connected. And I've led them here. I clutch the boot. Black coffee forgotten on the counter. I whisper, "Maggie." No answer, just the hum of the house, and the crack in the Turner seal waiting to open. The kitchen light glares over Maggie's boot on the linoleum floor. I can't look away. Its sole is worn, mud crusted in the treads. I crouch, press a fingertip into the mud. It flakes away, revealing scuffs and a tiny tear at the heel. I think of the Turner barn shirt, blood rust stain on the collar, the child's notebook. Mommy says the hole is hungry. Now this boot. Sirens wail in the distance. Sheriff Daniels arriving. I stand, pocket the boot, and head outside. The night air is thick, humid. Crickets chirp. The porch light flickers. Daniel steps out of his cruiser. His face is grave. "Show me," he says. I lead him inside, hold up the boot. He kneels, inspects it. Maggie's size. He whispers. He radios dispatch. "Missing person alert. Child." Turner case. "Boot recovered at well site." He looks at me. "You sure?" I nod. "Found it on the gravel where Joshua's truck tracks end." He straightens. "Let's move." We return to my truck. Daniel's in the passenger seat, boot on the dash. I kill the engine at the well site. Moonlight gleams on the open shaft. The ground around it is undisturbed, no fresh footprints. I shine my flashlight down the well. Black. I drop the boot into the mud at the rim. It falls with a dull plop. Daniels frowns. You want me to call off the sonar? I shake my head. We need to see. He nods. Over the radio. Sonar team, respond to well site 12. Child's boot evidence. We wait. The night deepens. Wind stirs dust. My breath hitches. I think, what if she's already gone down there? What if the well never returns what it takes? The sonar techs arrive, set up gear. I watch the screen. The probe lowers into the shaft. Grainy images, rock, metal lining, then darkness. At 80 feet, a shape, rectangular, hovers in the beam. Tech zooms in. It's the boot lodged on a ledge 15 feet down. No child, no body, just the boot. I radio in. Boot confirmed at depth, no other contacts. Daniels clamps a hand on my shoulder. We'll get her. He doesn't sound hopeful. They winch the boot up. It emerges muddied, as before. I bag it. The well yawns, silent. I feel its hunger. Back at the station, we place the boot in evidence. Maggie's photo sits beside it. Her smiling face, curls framing wide eyes, the contrast makes me sick. I close the case file drawer, the boot inside, the notebook and shirt in other drawers. Each file a silent coffin. Daniels motions me into his office. He closes the door. Hastings, what the hell is happening? I shrug. I don't know. Holes they open, they take. He rubs his temples. We've got 2 missing now. Adult, child, no bodies, no clues, except holes. I lean back. We sealed 2. Turner Barn, Halverson Cave, but they cracked beneath my floor. Now the well. He glances at the scanner on my desk. That thing still talking to you? I nod. It said, you're late. Then, seal it. He shakes his head. We stick to procedure. We seal. We search. We hope. I look at him. Hope's running out. He stands. Get some rest. Tomorrow we expand grid on the well, and we reopen Turner site perimeter. I nod, leave his office. In the hallway, the scanner hums softly, though it's off. I step around it. I drive home at 2 a.m. The road is empty. I pass the Turner barn. The seal crack is gone, concrete flawless, as if it never fractured. I slow, stare. The barn seems to watch me. I drive on. At home, I sleep in clothes, boots by the bed, phone on the nightstand. I wake at 5:30 a.m. Dream fragments. Maggie's boot, the well breathing, a child's voice whispering from below. I dress, grab coffee. The scanner lies on the porch, back where I left it days ago. I pick it up. Power on, static, then clear. Morning deputy. I jerk. The voice is mine, distorted. I hit power off. Silence. I pocket the scanner, head to the station. Morning briefing at 8. Daniels outlines plans. Dive team at the well, perimeter at Turner, aerial drone over Halverson. I volunteer for Turner. I need to see it. I need to know. At 10, we converge at the barn. Engineers break away the concrete seal. Marquez and I watch as jackhammers chip through. Dust billows. Beneath, the wooden trapdoor appears, splintered. We open it. Cold air rushes up, smelling of damp earth and rot. A ladder descends into black. I climb down first. Each rung creaks. At the bottom, a narrow tunnel, walls of packed soil, roots overhead. I sweep my light forward. The beam catches something, a smear of red, rust, dried blood, on the wall. I crouch, trace it with a gloved finger, sticky. I bag a swab in evidence. Tunnel slopes downward. I follow. My radio crackles weakly. Marquez above. I broadcast position. She acknowledges. I move on. 15 feet in, the tunnel opens into a low chamber. The beam reveals 3 objects arranged in a triangle on the dirt floor. Maggie's other boot, the Turner child's shirt, and Joshua Miller's water bottle. My stomach twists. Each item from a separate case. I step closer. The circle of objects glows in my light. I kneel. The air is still. I feel watched. I whisper, "Why?" No answer. I sweep beyond the triangle. The chamber extends into darkness. I step forward. The ground dips. I crest a rise. A deeper pit. At its center, a shallow pool of water. The surface ripples, though no breeze stirs. I shine my light on it. Reflection. My face. Hollow. Haunted. I lean in. The water is icy. I see shapes beneath. Dark forms. Swirling. I cough. Step back. The tunnel behind me trembles. Dust falls from roots. The beam flickers. Radio. Marquez's voice, urgent. Echo 52, status. I grip the beam. I found evidence from all cases. There's a chamber, water, static. Then, get out now. Marquez's voice, panicked. I stand. The water ripples faster. Something moves beneath. A shape glides, long, thin. I can't make it out. Fear coils in my gut. I back toward the ladder. The tunnel shakes. A low groan echoes. Roots snap overhead. Dirt falls. I climb. Each rung slick with mud. I hurtle up. At the trapdoor, I shove it closed. My shoulder slams the wood. Marquez and Daniels pull me out. I gasp, covered in soil. Daniels slams the hatch. Engineers pour concrete. Fast. The chamber seals with a final thud. I stagger back, coat torn, hands shaking. Marquez hands me my radio. "You okay?" I nod, voice gone. I watch concrete fill the space. The barn floor smooths over again. Silence. I think of Maggie's face. Joshua's smile. The Turner shirt. The cave. The well. All holes filled. All evidence buried. I feel sick. Daniels claps me on the back. "Good work." I manage a nod, but inside I know. Ceiling only hides. It doesn't end. The hunger remains. I return to the station. File reports. The new seal logged, evidence tagged, questions unresolved, files left open. I sit at my desk. The scanner lies beside me. I power it on. Static, then clear. Thank you. My blood runs cold. I hit power off. Silence returns. I exhale. The station hums. The files wait. The holes wait. And I wait too. Because I'm the deputy who hears what's not said, sees what's not there, and carries the silence for those who never came home. I wake, sweating in the dark of my bedroom. The concrete beneath the Turner barn still vibrates in my bones. My uniform is folded on the chair, stained with mud and damp earth. I lie still, listening to the house breathe. No scanner, no radio, just the hum of the air conditioner and the distant trill of cicadas. My heart pounds against ribs stiff from yesterday's crawl through that tunnel. The clock reads 2:17 a.m. I should sleep. I need sleep. But sleep means dreams of empty wells, granite cold water, and the shapes writhing beneath the surface. I swing my legs onto the floor. Boots waiting. I pull them on. Jacket. I pocket my badge and gun, but leave the radio behind. I don't want any voices telling me what to hear. I step into the hallway. The floor panel is sealed. No secret crawl space. I run a hand over the wood, solid, unbroken. I turn away. Outside, the night is thick. I climb into my truck. Engine idles. I drive without headlights down County Road 7. The asphalt gleams with dew. The well site lies 2 miles east. I pull in. The cement seal glares white in the beam of my truck's fog lights. I kill the engine. The world goes silent. I step onto the concrete apron. The beam of my flashlight cuts a tunnel of yellow. I walk the perimeter. No footprints. No sign of yesterday's sonar team. Just my own breath fogging in the air. I kneel at the rim. The metal collar of the well stands cold. I press fingertips to the seal. It hums faintly. like a pulse. I sit back on my heels. The pulse slows. Silence. I rise. I circle the well. My light catches something embossed in the cement, an imprint of boot treads, too crisp to be 6 hours old. They match Maggie's boot. I crouch. The imprint is shallow, as if weight pressed briefly, then lifted. No smear, no debris, as if the boot never left the surface. I stand, whisper, "Not possible." I step back. The imprint fades in the beam. Gone. The concrete smooth. I blink. The well sits empty. I feel my chest tighten. I snap a photo with my phone. The image shows smooth cement, no imprint. I pocket the phone. My radio crackles in my mind. Echo 52, Echo 52. I shake it off. I drive to the station. At 4 a.m., I'm in the evidence room. Boots locked away, shirt and notebook in drawers. The chamber seal report signed. I stand before the closed Turner file cabinet. I slide open the drawer. Files labeled Miller, Turner, Halverson. I pull them out, line them on the table. Photos, reports, evidence tags. I spread them like a researcher mapping patterns. Joshua's missing adult file, truck, well, boot, water bottle. Maggie's file, shirt, notebook, boots, barn trap door. Halverson file, badge, recorder, cave, seismic data. I tap each photo, the cave's tunnel, the barn's trapdoor, the well's rim. Each site sealed with concrete. Each seal cracked, reopened, revealing more horror. Each item arranged in a triangle in that underground chamber. I press fingertips to the photos. My reflection wavers in the plastic. Hollow. I think 3 cases. 3 sets of holes. 3 triangles of evidence. The shape of an old death cult. Number. I'm not dealing with cults. I'm dealing with places that want to be hidden, and things that want to stay buried. I close the files. I lock them. I step back. The cabinet hums in the fluorescent light. By 5:30, deputies arrive for the morning shift. I brief Marquez in hushed tones. Well, imprint gone, cabinet files locked, no new leads. She frowns. You look like hell. I force a nod. I'll be fine. I move to my desk. The scanner sits there, off. I leave it. I need clarity, not static voices. At 7 a.m., the station doors open. I check voicemail, mother of Joshua, frantic. Turner father's call, distraught. Halverson widow, silent. I return none. I can't speak until I have answers. Speaking breaks the silence. Silence is all we have. Shift begins at 8 a.m. I patrol County Road 151. At 9:15 a.m., I pass the Turner barn, sealed, silent. I kill the engine, step out. The morning sun warms the concrete. I kneel. The crack is gone, the seal perfect. I place a hand on it. The surface vibrates under my palm, almost imperceptibly, like a living thing beneath. I press harder. The vibration ceases. I stand. I hear my radio crackle. Echo 52, come in. I answer. Go ahead. Dispatch. Report of footprints near Sand Creek Bridge again. My stomach twists. I'm on it. I drive south. At the bridge, locals stand, pale. The teenage boy, from before points. Here. He's shaking. I saw her again. He nods toward water. I scan. No footprints on the bridge. On the far bank, in mud, I see faint prints. Child size, leading into bushes. I step down. The mud yields under my boot. The prints stop at the water's edge. No sign of departure. I run fingers through mud. No drag marks, no disturbance. I bag a mud sample. I stand at the railing. Listen to creak. No splash, no whisper. Just water flowing over rocks. I taste copper in the air. I picture that underground pool, the shapes writhing beneath. I step back. I radio dispatch. Echo 52. Footprints at bridge. No subject. Collecting sample. They copy. Marquez arrives. She shines her light on the prints. Same as before. I nod. They're taunting us. She shivers. Let's get the kids out of here. We leave. I glance back. The bridge stands empty, haunted by absence. At 11 o'clock, I meet the dive team at the well site again. They bring a remote camera this time, a crawler with lights. We lower it into the shaft. I watch the screen, cement lining, pipe brackets, then darkness. The camera drops past the boot ledge, nothing but smooth walls. Depth, 120 feet. At 135 feet, the camera tilts into a side tunnel, narrow, rough-hewn. The beam illuminates packed earth, roots, and then a glint of metal, a badge, rusted. The team retrieves it. Sheriff Erickson's badge from Halverson case. I stare. How did it get here? It should have stayed sealed in evidence. I bag the badge, hands shake. I step back. The dive tech thumbs camera up. Tunnel beyond extends into black. The camera feed dies, signal lost. We reel it up. The shaft echoes with silence. I radio dispatch. Echo 52. Badge recovered at 135 feet in well shaft. Tunnel present. Recommend caving team. They copy. I watch the badge in the bag, Sheriff Erickson of Clearwater County. His name glints in tarnished metal. I close my eyes. I leave the well. I drive to Halverson site. The county fence stands, new environmental hazard signs posted. I slip through. Ground tremors beneath my boots. I kneel atop the sealed cave. Concrete scar, cool. I press hand. The tremor echoes, soft, rhythmic. I stand. Listen. The earth hums. I tap the concrete. We found your badge. No answer. I leave. At 2 p.m., I return to the station. Daniels meets me at the door. Badge of Erickson in the well? I nod. And Prince at the bridge? He exhales. This is bigger than one county. I look at him. It's bigger than us. He glances at the scanner. You still using that? I shake head. Left it off. He nods. Good. We head to the conference room. Files spread across the table. Turner, Miller, Halverson. Now Erickson's badge, new badge tag. I place it next to the triangle of evidence from the tunnel. 4 points. A tetrahedron of loss. Daniels leans in. We need outside help. State Police, FBI Swallow. They'll seal it permanently. He nods. They'll quarantine the sites, bring specialists. I close my eyes. I think of the child's voice. Mommy says the hole is hungry. I think of the shapes in that pit pool. I think of Erickson's final whisper. Seal it up. I open my eyes. They'll seal it, but it won't stop. Daniels frowns. What do you mean? I point at the files. Evidence moves, holes reopen, it finds a way. He looks at the wall map. Pins in 3 counties. He sighs. We contain what we can. I nod. And what we can't, we remember. That night, I return home. The house is dark. I turn on the porch light, step inside. The floor panel is solid. I don't check it. I go to the living room. On the coffee table, a single item. Erickson's recorder, cracked and silent. I didn't bring it. It must have been delivered from evidence. I pick it up. The lens of my flashlight flickers off the glass. I hold it close. 11:53 p.m., February 1997. Erickson's final hours. I press play, nothing. Dead. I set it down. The house hums. The recorder clicks as if winding. I step back. It ticks once. Then silence. I whisper, not again. I leave it. I climb into bed. Sleep eludes me. The shapes in the pit, the tremor, the badges, the boot, the notebook, the hunger. I wake to the smell of coffee and concrete. My head throbs. The bedroom floor vibrates faintly, as if something breathes beneath the house. I sit up. The morning sun slants through blinds, cutting stripes across my chest. The recorder lies on the nightstand, silent. I reach for it. The display flickers. 11:53 p.m. I press play, Static, then a faint pulse of breathing, and nothing more. The file is gone. I throw back the covers, stand, boots on, jacket zipped. I step into the hallway. The floor panel is solid, no trap. I exhale. Maybe it was never there, maybe it was always in my mind. In the kitchen, the coffee pot gurgles. I pour a mug, black. I carry it to the living room. Files from the conference lie stacked. Turner, Miller, Halverson, Erickson's badge on top, the recorder beside it. I stare at the badge, tarnished metal. 7 years lost. Now another layer of mystery. I pick up Maggie's boot, place it next to the badge, then the ranch hand's water bottle, then the child's shirt. 4 items, 4 points. The missing, arranged in silence. I sip coffee, taste oil and dust. I think of the Turner child's words, they bloom in the dark, don't let them out. I think of Joshua's mother waiting. I think of Erickson's widow tending her porch light. I think of the emptiness that follows every call. My radio crackles unexpectedly. Echo 52, final check. The voice is calm. Marquez. I grab the handset. Go. She says, we sealed 3 sites. State police arrived today to seal permanent. I nod, though she can't see. And the tunnel chamber? Concrete set, no entry. I exhale. Good. Silence. Then, you okay? I look at the badge, the boot, the bottle, the shirt. No, I admit, not really. She says, neither am I. I close my eyes, the weight in my chest, old grief, fresh fear. I open them. We'll keep watch, she replies, always. I click off. I place the radio on the table. The hum of the house fills the space. I finish coffee. I stand. Gather the 4 items. I walk outside into bright morning. The porch light clicks off behind me. I carry evidence to my truck. At the Turner barn, engineers remove the last equipment. The concrete seal is perfect. I lay the child's shirt on the surface. It flutters, then settles. I step back. The barn watches me. At the well site, I place the boot on the rim, the concrete cool. I step away. The boot stays. At Halverson, I lay the water bottle on the seal. The sun glints off the mud-streaked glass. I leave it. At the sheriff's station, I place the badge and recorder in the evidence locker. The drawer closes with a click. 4 sites, 4 items, all sealed, all left behind. I walk into the station. At my desk, I open a fresh file. Echo 52 personal log. I type, April 9th, 03:47 a.m. Evidence of 4 lost souls collected and returned to sealed places. No bodies, no closure. Silence remains. I carry their absence with me. I keep watch, because someone has to. I save the entry. I lean back. The station hums. The files sit in drawers. The earth holds its secrets beneath concrete scars. I stand, shoulder my coat. I step outside into the morning. The world is bright, ordinary, but I know what lies beneath. Hollows that hunger, tunnels that echo, wells that breathe, barns that watch. I climb into my truck. Engine rumbles. I pull onto County Road 7. The horizon stretches empty. I drive into the sun, and I listen. For the next silence, the next absence, the next hunger. Because this is my beat now, and silence is all I have left to give.